But no doubt, the reason I mentioned you could do it was so that you wouldn't then dispute the evidence I could provide. So but I can go and get people of different latitudes to do this, and it will show this relationship that is well established.
Don't tell me what's well established. Go and get it. Yeah? I want to see North Pole directly above someone. I want to see someone flat on their back with a camera in their hand, taking a picture of Polaris. That's what I want to see. Don't tell me that it's not going to be needed. It's absolutely going to be needed if that's your starting reference point. So you better have the North Pole in your little bunch of shit that you present.
No, it's not needed at all to demonstrate the relationship.
Sorry, not needed.
It is. I just gave them to you.
It is needed. So already he's failed. So let me get this straight. This claim fails immediately. I don't even need to keep a timer. You can't do it.
You don't understand how...
That's an ad hom.
Welcome to the show. If you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and info box below. Hope you like the intro. That is the BALLBUSTERS intro. From here until I get a new intro. Hope you enjoyed it. Got a bang up show for you today. We're going to be going over train wreck ball-tard arguments. Going to give you the ammunition so you can just shoot them right out of the sky and go back to cutting the lawn. What do you think about that?
More choice.
Right.
More what happened to the old intro? Epic.
Yeah. Somebody's been slacking. Ain't gonna mention any names, but we'll try to hook that up for the next time. We'll see how it goes. Not a big deal. So what's up, BALLBUSTERS? BALLBUSTERS, activate. What's up, Arwen?
Hello. Good evening.
What's going on over there in the Netherlands?
Oh yeah, it's nice weather now, and it's just spring. Plants are getting plenty of rain. Staying green, keep flowering, and yeah, all is good over here.
Outstanding, thank you. Chocolate.
Hello.
How is it down there in North Kakalaki?
North Kakalaki, yeah. Beautiful, man. It's a beautiful day out in North Kakalaki. Yeah, man. It's good to be here.
Good to have you. Stay motivated. Betty!
Yo!
How's it going over there in the Netherlands also? What is it, raining where you're at?
No, it's beautiful sunshine. It's quite bright. It began cloudy, but now it's bright. So, yeah. Good.
Why do we always go over the weather in the beginning?
Because the Dutch and the weather go together. That's rhymes.
Yeah. Nathan Oakley, sir.
How you doing? Good to be here.
How's the weather, man?
Who cares? The world's locked down and is still obviously and observably flat.
How can you observe that when you are locked down?
I've still got windows. I still do go outside.
Okay, sir.
Who cares what the what? Yeah, I know. I feel the same. I'm getting in that rut. Hey, how's it going? Well, we're from different places, so it's always good to get a feel what's going on there. Yeah, because the weather, man, it contributes to your attitude, your well-being. So it is kind of important.
Come on, this gives like an international feel to it.
It does.
Yeah.
It surely does. Yep, I agree. That's why I do it. What else are we going to talk about?
How flat it is by you.
How do we have weather in the first place? If we're on a ball in a vacuum.
Ooh.
Right?
Container?
Go down.
Very good question. Ball down, go boom, boom, go splash, splash.
Mostly down.
Mostly down.
So the effect of gravity is the container. That's going to be
All
difficult.
right, what do we got here? Got some empty time. Come on, you need to fill it, guys. Let's go. Get motivated.
No, we were just
Well, you
covering,
trained us kind of well today, so.
covering M. Scott Veach. You know, force equals WC, walls of the container.
Yes. Force equals Whiskey Charlie, walls of the container. That's from M. Scott Veach. And then we have Zanuck. Force equals Victor, or V. Force equals valve. So that's what we got. I don't know what to say about
Wait.
that.
What do you mean? Which force? The force that causes the force, or just the force itself?
Yeah, it's just the force.
Just the force. It's not
And
that's the force. That's not a force.
Yeah, surprisingly, that's not one of the arguments today because we deal exclusively with gravity. So I'm just going to deal with certain arguments, but surprisingly, maybe it's a good break that gravity isn't part of it today. But that's all right. Well, we're going to still have a little bit of fun.
Sure, but just for the audience's benefit, so to quote Brian Cox, there's not really a force of gravity at all, end quote. Or to quote George Musa, gravity is not a force, but you can think of it as a force, end quote.
And those are cherry picked, Nathan.
Those are direct quotes in context.
I've been charged with cherry picking twice this morning.
Okay.
Not with those particular words.
It's all going nuts, okay? I was over at Jose's earlier today, and it's just like it's like going into hell now. Like they've all become so delusional and uptight and stressed out from everything that they're just unusually hostile. It's almost like you're surrounded by little goblins and demons now, and they got really nasty for no reason. And like I wasn't even trying to be mean, and they just kept what the hell's going on here? They're going nuts.
That's
Yeah.
them sharing their pain with you.
Exactly. They're sharing their
There's a
pain.
lot of pain being shared. I've seen a lot in Discord the past couple days, and what it's come down, they've been doing this for a long time now, but I've been noticing it recently, is they just give their Mike, discipline, please. That's you, Arwen. Thank you. They just give their ambiguous color commentaries about the situation. That's what it's come down to now. I just sit back and what are you talking about? We don't want to hear your color commentaries, right? We want to hear your scientific evidence for your spinning ball space monkey religion. We don't care what your take on the community is, right? I don't want your color commentary, boneheads, right? It's time to start getting down and giving us some cowbell for your religion, because you're religious. And the reason why you're giving us your ambiguous color commentaries is because you don't got anything. We don't want to hear them. We don't want to hear retards color commentaries. All right. I start hearing them. I start getting specific. Highly specific. So, gravity. Which gravity are you talking about? Yeah. So, flat earthers, when you hear them give their incoherent, ambiguous color commentaries, get them right down to business real quick. Okay? That's my thoughts on the matter. Anyone else?
Like you say, when they don't have an argument to give, they're going to make small talk about, for example, why people talk over you. So when you've got a guy up against the wall like I had the other week on the debate, this week actually, and you're saying, how can you have gas pressure without a container? There's a short pause, and then, you know why people interrupt you all the time? In other words, it's much easier to discuss the whys and wherefores of the show, the format, rather than answer the question that absolutely annihilates a fundamentalist religious belief that the sky is a vacuum.
Yes, sir. I heard that. That was pretty funny. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, how? I think you should run your show differently. That's something like that. Yeah. I got you. It's mind-numbing. All right, listen. Betty, any admin? We're gonna get rolling on this.
Nope, no admin.
Any hellos? Is anyone out there in chat?
Yes, say Montreal is in chat. Nokia Live, YouTube, YouTube. Yeah, a couple of people that we know. Jose Mesa, Arwin.
Harwin's in chat. Yeah, right.
Just 70 watching earlier.
Yeah, oh yeah. 70 people in chat. So yeah. 70 people.
70 people. That's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of pressure on me.
Yeah, well, we'll get better and better.
Got any jokes or anything we could start out with?
Jokes? Is this a joke to you?
No. This is stay in context, for goodness sakes. I said any jokes anyone got.
I think that was the joke. So the joke was on you.
Yeah, thank you. I like how you do that. So
Yeah.
anything new besides that, and then we'll get started. Anything, that just popped up over the past couple days that surprised any of you? No?
Something that surprised anyone.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
anything new on the
Concerning
ballpark
what?
front that surprised
Yes.
Concerning what?
Concerning the subject of the Earth not being spherical and being obviously and observably flat. Yes. So the black swan, I search daily on YouTube to see if anybody's made responses, videos about it, challenging it, etc., etc. And COVID-19 hit, and it started to die off. There was less and less people responding to it because presumably they've got their mind on other things. However, in the last week, it's returned with a vengeance, which is brilliant because people want to now get back into the curve calculator. Now, I appreciate that there's many people on our own side that don't fully understand the extent of how impactful this argument is, but with time they will. But they've come along and they've hoped for an in to beg the question and use the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator once again. And it just gets 2-word response from me, Black Swan. So I've had an opportunity to bring up that argument again, which makes me very pleased. So that's interesting because it did take a bit of a lull, which is always the case when anything's new. There's not going to be constant upward curve. It's peaks and troughs, right? When it's a prolonged period, which it will be with an argument such as the Black Swan. Not everyone's going to get it all at once. And they're slowly starting to get it, and they're slowly trying to weasel their way back into having the argument with a essentially debunked model. They don't have an R value to use to give them a geometric horizon. They've only got one rebuttal, which is we've got 2 horizons, one we don't see. And we can now talk about that all day long, which is wonderful.
Yeah, we're going to have some associated, we're not going to discuss the Black Swan directly, but some associated arguments that the Black Swan impacts. It's really funny that, I don't know, they must have blinders on, but when they say that we don't see the geometric horizon or the horizon's refracted, they don't think about the other arguments that they need the geometric horizon to be exactly where it is. You ever notice that? They argue one argument, but forget about that same thing in another argument, and they change that same thing in the other argument.
We call that double think and double speak.
You mean how they
Flexible, man.
the
Getting creative.
physicality? You mean they forgot how the physicality of this geometric horizon was supposed to be blocking boats and blocking buildings and things like that? Back in the day, they used to use that calculator to tell us that, to tell us how much physically is being blocked. All of a sudden, it's not physical anymore. All of a sudden, now we're told, oh, did you guys forget about optics? No, we didn't. That's been our argument the entire time, guys. Thanks for catching up. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, did you guys forget about optics? No, that's been our argument the whole time.
Oh my god, yeah, it's great.
I'll tell you. Hey, Jose Mesa's in here. What's up, sir? Is he off mute?
Hey, Hey, good to see everyone. Just wanted to add on to that, man. We've had a bunch of debates. Black Swan hasn't died in the 24/7 Discord has been ramping in there. We haven't dropped it. That's one of our best arguments at the moment. And yeah, we just had a guy the other day by the name of Cunny in there. You've had the pleasure of talking to him, Conor Racer, the youngster.
Yes.
He literally, we hammered him with the Black Swan. I think you were there. And in the same sentence after Black Swan, he starts to bring up boats getting cut off. So yeah, the contradictions are hilarious with the Black Swan.
Yeah, after he said that the horizon was refracted, then that's what happens. They usually immediately bring up another argument that debunks their previous argument that was substantiated by the refraction. It's really, really funny. The really scary part is they don't realize it. That's scary to me. I'm just
it's
spitballing.
flexible.
Well, that's the indoctrination, isn't it? People
Yeah,
are
I like when
indoctrinated by these thoughts, and they can't hold to one argument because they have need of another argument in another fragment of their beliefs, right?
Yes, and it contradicts it. Yeah,
it goes.
That's what happens.
It goes something like this. How do you explain this Black Swan observation? We do not see the geometric horizon. Well, then you haven't got a geometric horizon and your entire model's based on it. Oh, let's change the subject. About this boat being cut off from the bottom. That proves we've got a physical geometric horizon.
Yes, they get it.
Yeah,
Geometrical
exactly.
horizon, you can't see it, but it's still there and it blocks things. But it's not effectively in the horizon, even though they call it the horizon.
And they all do it. I don't get it. I don't understand how somebody can't realize that they're debunking their current argument by what they said previously. Is that, I don't know, is that some type of disease or something?
Yeah.
Another thing we do is they'll add another line, right? Like, you know how there's two oil rigs, right? Well, they'll put the line in between the oil rigs. Like, they've done that a bunch of times on our server. We'll be like, that's where the horizon should be. And I'm like, even in your globe model, that horizon wouldn't be there. Like, it's way, way before that. So it's just hilarious because they're just trying to remove where we see obviously the horizon, right, where the sky and the ground appear to meet. They're changing that to like they're just drawing an arbitrary line where they want, and they're saying that's where it should be. But even when they do that, it doesn't help them. It's hilarious, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. Yep. All right, like I said, I got 9 of them. You're all gonna recognize it. They're not very long, and we'll take breaks after a couple of them. We'll go to the BALLBUSTERS chat. Oh yeah, that's what I forgot. Always forget that. All right, guys, this is a BALLBUSTERS. That means that anyone can join this hangout. They can join the stream. And the link is, guess where? Can anyone guess where that link is?
In the description.
The link is in the description box below. So if you want to come in and question or challenge anything regarding what we're discussing, try to stay on topic. I know it's difficult, but try to stay on the topics that we're discussing. That would kind of help us. It would help kind of get, everyone on the same page. All right. So go ahead and join. There are rules that must be followed. I'm not going to go over them again. They're listed in the description box below. So after a couple topics, so you don't lose your train of thought, we'll go to the BALLBUSTERS voice chat and we'll check your comments, questions, or rebuttals. If you have a rebuttal, I sure hope you have some support. Let's roll. All right, this is a step-by-step block of instruction demonstrating how you deconstruct ball-tart arguments and hand-spinning space monkeys their asses. Now, I'm giving them too much credit here when I say ball-tart arguments, because we all know that they don't have any of their own arguments, right? there's a couple scenarios that could be at play here. Number one, this individual has got their argument directly from Wiki. Scenario number two, this person has got it from another baller who has got their argument directly from Wiki. So essentially, it's Flat Earth versus Wiki. If you haven't noticed, if you've been around here more than 3 weeks, wait a second, are you like Wiki or something? So let me boil it down for you. And that's their epistemology also. What's your epistemology? First, they don't even know what epistemology is. Right? Does anyone know what epistemology is? Well, let me tell you. It's how do we know what we know, right? And the Baltards, their epistemology is Wiki. That's how they know what they know, because of Wiki. If Wiki would shut down all of a sudden, there wouldn't be any more Baltards out here. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. I just wanted to clarify that right now. That's why they don't have any depth, and they contradict each other with every other breath, because Wiki contradicts himself. And did you know that anyone and their sister can post on Wiki? Did you all know that? Anybody and their sister can post or take away.
My sister.
Wiki. Yeah, your sister could post on there, sure.
Ooh, that would be bad.
Yeah, that's why we've had all kind of problems. Remember when we pulled out a couple Wiki references? I think it was to experiment, and they took cause and effect out. See, after we were saying it for 10, even though I got many more citations from different places, we used the Wiki one just to show them that even in their Baltard Space Monkey Wiki religion, they even know that it's all based on cause and effect. But then I went back there after I screenshotted it, because I know their games with a number of these citations. I actually screenshot them. Or we could use the Wayback Machine, but screenshotting's easier for me. That we went back to the definition, it was gone. It was completely gone. So somebody went there with the delete button. Right? That's the level that we're dealing with here. But I just wanted to let you know, little spill on Wiki. Got a little soapbox there, but we can move on from that. We're going to go over some typical arguments, and you're going to know them right off the bat because, well, if you've been out here for more than 2 weeks, you're going to know what I'm going to go over, at least 90% of this. So, typical baller claim, right? When you enter a hangout, you got a bunch of 10, 15 ballers in there. You're a flat earther, right? This is what happens. Baller claim. Why are these, whatever, always just an observation or a pick, disappearing below the horizon? See, that used to be the old spiel. I don't hear too much of this anymore because they're going to get jacked up with the Black Swan and they know it. But every now and again, you'll hear this. And conceptually, this is still out there. So, number one, hello, McFly. They immediately shift the burden of proof fallacy and request you explain their nonsense. Right? They'll show a picture, whatever, and ask you to explain it. That doesn't make any sense. You've just provided the picture. That's what I say. What in the world? Why would I need to explain? I never claimed anything whatsoever to do with your right? Why do you need me to explain? It's your evidence. So you validate your claim, counselor. That's how you end that nonsense quick. Do it quick, because I see a lot of flat earthers chasing that tail. You explain sunsets, sunrises and sunsets. And then the flat earther starts his explanation. I'm there. Why are you following this? They're just in the back laughing. And another thing, why are you asking us to explain? Is that are you implying you have the answer and we're providing a complete competing explanation to go against your explanation? You don't have an explanation. You got Wiki. That's your explanation. You don't got an explanation. And who cares about your explanation anyway? Because if you don't have experimental validation with that explanation, we'll get to in a second, you got nothing. You got a just so story from Wiki. My word. So that's what I say. Tell us, Crayon Muncher, why do you wander around aimlessly asking complete strangers to explain your claims? What do you do? Go up to the gas station and just tell, can you explain and just make stuff up? Can you explain this? You'd leave with a black eye. At best. You got people rolling their eyes at you. Are you people insane? You empty dipshits are in dire need of some new tactics. Hire a preschooler. And number two, and with your observe and declare explanation after I challenge, no, you explain your explanation. We're going to need you to validate it. Because an explanation's worthless. It's just a just so story. Wiki type one each. So with your explanation, A, natural phenomena observed. Formal scientific hypothesis, please. I need you to identify the independent, dependent, and control variables in the experiment and then post a null that was rejected or falsified. Right? Let's hear that explanation. Why? Well, they're directly implying a cause and effect relationship with their specific boats going over a curve. What's causing the obstruction? Curve. Well, that's a cause and effect relationship. Well, okay. There's a method that adjudicates or validates natural cause and effect relationship. It's called the scientific method. See A, B, C, and D above. You see this? This right here is the scientific method. Right here. But you don't know that. Right? There's hundreds of thousands of scientific methods, right? My word. Okay, well, give us one and then walk us through an example of how you validate something through it. Well, yeah. Number three, did the ships disappear below the refracted horizon? That's why you're not getting too many of these. See, the Black Swan has put a halt to this nonsense, right? About the ships. I don't know. I haven't heard the ships over the horizon. I just haven't heard it. So it's not going to go too far. Somebody's going to come up. Some doofus is going to come out with it. Like Jose Retard or somebody's going to say it. Here's the most important point. I'm going to drop anchor right here. This is a very important point. And I've skimmed over this many times in the past. I'm not going to do that this time. From the University of Rochester Physics Labs. Go through this slowly. Common mistakes in applying the scientific method. The most fundamental error is to mistake the hypothesis for an explanation of a phenomena without performing experimental tests. Sometimes common sense and logic tempt us into believing that no test is needed. There are numerous examples of this dating from the Greek philosophers to the present day. Let me say this again. The most fundamental error is to mistake the hypothesis for an explanation of a phenomena without performing experimental tests. What's the problem in our little genre? You clowns don't even have a friggin' viable hypothesis. It's even worse. You don't even know what a scientific hypothesis is. I can do this. This isn't a stereotype. I'm telling you, I've been out here for 4 years and I have yet to have a single balltard give me a viable hypothesis on anything. I was just in 24/7. These guys could back me up. Hold on. Is he still in here? 1 second. Yep, he's still in here, him and Chocolate, because they were there. So I bumbled in 24/7. I was doing ads for one of the shows, and I seen a PhD astrophysicist making comments, right? So I had to go in, and I asked him point blank, please give me a viable scientific hypothesis for anything in astrophysics. Guess what he did? He gave me a cluster screw of nonsense. I asked him what identify the independent and dependent. I wrote it down. Wait a second. Wrote that darn thing down. I can't find it. I'll look for it during break. I wrote it down. I said, just give me I asked him to repeat it a few times. He says, why are you asking me to repeat it? I said, I'm writing it down. I'm affording you that respect to write what you're telling me down, right? So I wrote it all down. It was a train wreck, right? And he got embarrassed and he ran away. Let me ask you, Jose Mesa and Chocolate, I had to leave because he left. I asked him to please post another scientific hypothesis. Did he come back and post another one?
He tried. He tried to do the whole spectroscopy.
Oh, and I missed it.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Oh my God. Let me tell you, folks, we had a PhD astrophysicist. He'd failed 5th grade general science. His hypothesis that he gave me, he didn't have a viable independent or dependent variable. So if a PhD in astrophysics can't give me a viable scientific hypothesis, what do you think are the chances of one of these numpty dipshits giving me one? There's not. They can't. Right? So this is very important. This is saying the most fundamental error is to make the hypothesis. Mistake the hypothesis for an explanation. They don't even have that. They just have an explanation. Right? That they just made up. It's just a just so story. And they think just because they can explain something that it's like viable, like that's reality. No. Now, you have to validate your conjurings. For goodness sakes, this is almost common sense. Like I said, all you have is your picture with your train wreck religious spin attached. Again, just so story. That's why they do it. That's why they immediately shift the burden of proof fallacy onto the opponent or onto the flat earther that comes in, because they can't do anything with their explanation. If they're questioned on it, it just falls apart because it's from Wiki. It's just those story. They have no depth with it for the most part. You'll get a couple that try to freaking square the circle and then they'll contradict themselves like 5 times, right? With their BS. So flat earthers, take your head out of your 4th point of contact and set these retards straight right from the outset. As soon as they ask you for an explanation, you say, what in the world are you talking about? Explanation for what? I didn't claim anything just yet. Have you? Right? And if you do claim something, be ready to validate it. Don't fall into the same trap, is what I'm trying to say. And don't let them get away from shifting the burden of proof. And these religious retards don't even know their own model. Reification fallacy. They don't even know it. We know it. If they say my model, well, show it to us. And for years, I have yet to see the spinning Baltard model. And that's all they talk about. Where's your model? Where's your model? Where's your model? Why don't you present a model? No, let's see yours first. Clowns. Al Baruni, Booby. He's my man. From 973 to 1048. If you want to know where these guys got their radius from, you're looking at them right here. Al Baruni, not Eratosthenes. No. No, they didn't get that from Eratosthenes. They got it from Al Baruni. So Baruni developed a new method using trigonometric calculations to compute Earth's radius and circumference based on the angle between the horizontal line and true horizon, that's the imaginary horizon, from a mountaintop with known height. He calculated the height of the mountain by going to 2 points at sea level with a known distance apart, and then measuring the angle between the plane and the top of the mountain for both points. Rooney's estimate of 6,339.9 kilometers for the Earth radius had an error of 0.0026. Excuse me. And was 16.8 kilometers less than the current value of 6,356.7 kilometers. The idea came to him when he was on top of a tall mountain near Nandana in India. He measured the dip angle using an astrolabe, and he applied to the law of sines formula. He also made use of algebra in his calculations. So let's take a look at what he did here. Al-Biruni climbed up a tall mountain, come out with the Earth's radius. Right? Let's take a look at what these variables are here. A, let's find out what A is. Highest point of the mountain. That's pretty self-explanatory. B, lowest point of the mountain. B's not on the lowest point. B, it should be down here. But I digress. H, height of the mountain. And C, the lowest point of the true horizon visible from point A. C. So the angle right here. What's the problem with this? It's rhetorical. There's a big problem here. Because all the bald-tard arguments against the black swan is that we never see the geometric horizon. The geometric horizon is refracted. So you can't change your argument from that and go back to this argument and say Al-Biruni used a refracted horizon to calculate a geometric radius. You want to know why? Because it makes no damn sense. That's why. So your whole fairy tale, including old Booby here, gets blown up at its base. You don't even realize it. Do you think you're fooling anyone? Because incoherent second graders can reconcile what I just said in 2 to 3 seconds. You're done. Like I said, can you please explain? 1 second, Mike Discipline, I'm almost done. Can you please explain how you can obtain a geometric radius from a refracted horizon? Questions, comments?
Yeah, I'll go last though, happily.
Yeah, Nathan, you're last. Arwen, questions, comments?
Right. So the geometric horizon, it's there. It's just some arbitrary point on the picture. And you're just gonna imagine that's a geometrical curve, even though, or geometrical horizon, which should be the edge of a curve of the Earth sphere. But yeah, that you don't see it as a horizon, so you just gotta think of it like a horizon. And that's it.
Taco!
Huey, did you forget about optics, man? Like, what are we doing here? We don't see the geometric horizon, so I don't know what that little X is doing there. Little cross where it's hitting the ground. That's a physical place, right? But we're now being told that it's not physical. It's apparent. So yeah, I don't know how Al-Biruni did what he did with a refracted horizon. That seems a little silly. So yeah, rest in peace to the geometric horizon, aka the curve of the Earth.
Jose Mesa. Thank you, sir. Jose Mesa.
I love the Al-Biruni argument because that was Coach Show's #1 argument for radius about like 2 years ago, nonstop. So he hasn't brought that up since then. So it's a nice fresh breath there. That's it.
Thanks, man. Nathan.
I think it's important that people understand that when the burden of proof is shifted, there's also going to be a little dirty sister of a fallacy going along with it, which is the holding up in false dichotomy of a model that you'll undoubtedly present if you fall into that little trap. So it's an understanding of who the burden of proof is on. If somebody's making a claim, then it's up to them to back it, as you point out. So if they hold up present a picture and say, how do you explain or detail something that the sun does, and then go on to say, how do you explain? Understand that unless you've actually made a claim about that, there's no need to defend anything in that regard. In other words, ask your opponent to actually explain what their claim is and what they think it proves, so you can rip it to pieces. Now, that, as is the case on the debate, again, you'll get to the point where you'll annihilate your opponent, and then they'll still ask you to explain something. Like, for example, if you've got a sky vacuum claimant and you rip it to pieces with, you know, the necessary antecedent of a container, they'll still ask you where the dome is after you've annihilated them, even though you haven't made a claim about it. So it's important to understand who the burden of proof is on. I have a standard response in comments when someone comes along into the comments and just asks me to justify a claim I haven't made. So, why does the sun do X, Y, and Z? I'll reply with something along the lines of premature sycamore pollination in the north of England on a globe. How do you explain that?
Did you get an answer to that, by the way?
Of course not. I don't even know if there is premature pollination of sycamores in the north of England. Oh, I'm getting a load of feedback from you, Betty.
Mic discipline.
No, I made it up myself. I mean, obviously I'm the authority on premature sycamore pollination, but I don't know if that's actually the case. I just made it up. So, you know, whether or not they'll be able to give me an answer on a claim that I'm making, which is to say that there is premature sycamore pollination, there probably isn't, if I'm ruthlessly honest. But how do they explain it on a globe? That's the more important thing here, Betty.
Sorry, what?
I'll ask you, Owen. Owen, how do you explain premature sycamore pollination in the north of England on a globe? Go.
I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, that's the point.
What point?
He hit the exact point, because what they try to do is, I'm talking about the Globetards, and there's usually 8 to 15 against you. That's just how it goes. It's been that way since the beginning. They're going to ask you to explain right out of the gate. You're going to be asked to explain something. No matter whether you claimed it or not, that's how they get you backpedaling, right? Like I said, they implied that they have the explanation, right? But they want to hear yours so they can compete, right? But theirs is only, they're sandbagging back here. They don't got anything. They got Wiki behind them. That's it.
Yeah,
but you'll have flat earthers fall into the trap. Even if flat earthers, I seen this the other day. They caught on to the little game initially, and then somebody asked them to explain something else like 5 minutes later. Guess what they did? Tried to explain it. I'm sitting there. What? I listen, at this point, I have to turn it off. I can't deal with it, man.
Yeah, but let me just add on my end bit again, because you've missed it out completely. I don't think you intentionally ignore me, but the whole point of that process is normally, how do you explain it with your model, so that they can hold up your explanation in false dichotomy with their wiki explanation that their model offers, in the hope that their model will have a better explanation than a weak-ass flat earther's explanation, so that they can essentially, with the burden of proof reversal fallacy, get you into a false dichotomy fallacy. In other words, say, well, my model does a better job of explaining this than your weak-ass flat earth explanation, therefore my model wins. Earth is a globe. That's what they'll do. False dichotomy is the end result.
Yeah, but their models always are very, very short on insight and realizations, and because they always keep it to this very oversimplified kind of visual model. And yeah, that's what they stick to, this skeleton. So it's a total straw man situation every time.
Exactly. You got it. It's a straw man situation because they conjure this flat earth model from who knows where, right? Models are reification fallacies. So
why are we discussing a model?
Yeah, what model?
Exactly.
You mentioned that in your presentation. So let this be known by anybody watching. When they say model and they're talking about the sphere, ask them to show it you, because they haven't got one. You're more likely to see a flat earth model given to you by the Flat Earth Society that's more complete than you will from the globe heads when they say they've got a model. You know, they'll say, oh, well, I've got stellarium. And you go, oh, right, okay. So the stellarium's got everything covered, does it? Absolutely not. It'll be one aspect of one tiny element of what they call a model. But as for an all-encompassing globe model, none exists.
Yep, I told him 3 years ago. In fact, it was cathexis. I said, "Hey, when you're on your travels," because he was frequenting all the knucklehead dives. I said, "Ask him to show you their model."
I saw that live.
He started laughing uncontrollably.
I saw that live. That was absolutely brilliant. And Cathexis has got this very nonchalant way of doing things. So he dropped it in real subtle and then just sat back. I think it was Gem Panda on there. And, they were talking, babbling on as they do in very forthright tones about their model. And then Cathexis is just like, any chance I can see that model? And then panic ensues. What are they going to show you?
Hey guys, you're welcome.
Yeah,
it's
every
mostly Betty. Betty, it's you. You're giving feedback.
I know, but I've tried to be as short as I can.
Yeah, I think we got this. We exhausted this one. Now, listen, if you want to come in, because we're going to stop and take a break here. If you want to come in and discuss this little explanation thing, and or Al Biruni and how he figured out the geometric radius of the Earth with a refracted horizon, come on in. The water's warm. No sharks. Come on in, Baltards. Go ahead and come on in and defend that train wreck of a religious zealot globetard you have. Come on in. We want to hear it. So we'll give you a couple seconds.
Can I ask something? Like, if somebody, like, for example, Rumpus comes in, can you at least let them, no matter how painful it's gonna be, because it's so annoying and strawman-y and all that, just let them at least talk for 2 minutes straight? Because it's gonna be shit, but everybody's gonna want to jump in, I would too. But let's give them at least 2 minutes,
No.
No.
Oh yes.
Sure.
I'll tell you what, let's just go down. We have a few people in here. We got Flat Earth. You want to take over? You have the con, Betty.
Can I first shout out the super chat because this one was made a little while ago by Rakia Live, and he says, "Don't talk about my sister." LOL. Speaking of woman, Jose JG show is biased and censors truth. So I think that he calls Jose a woman.
Jose Goebbels. Betty,
Goebbels?
thanks a lot, Dave. Hold on a second, Arwen. We don't need to talk about Jose over here. Not Jose Meza, yeah, but not Jose retard Goebbels. So Betty, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. Betty, you have the con?
Do I? Okay. Yeah, let's see if we can have some comments on people. I think there are a lot of flat earthers also in here. So let's start with flat earth data. You're
Hey,
unmuted.
can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Right on. Yeah, no, I was just I was laughing at the Al Bruni example because it seems like it's like the Earth's a ball, so I've got to go measure it. It's not like let me be scientific and analyze what I'm looking at, and it's right down to Aristotle. It's just these guys overlooked optics, so it's a brilliant position to be in. It's hard to explain, I guess. Model, like if you were to model you can draw it out in a way highlighting the path of perspective, so to speak. And then if you follow the path of perspective and you had a relative parallel line to the ground and had the path sun move across it, you could show the geometry for it. The thing is that there's hardly none of it around. And it just seems like this comical joke because they were observing the world for what it was, but completely ignoring the fact just ignoring refraction and ignoring vision, angular limits, and super deceived to think their vision could be millions and millions and light years away. It goes right back down to the original point of the first gentleman who was studying the distance to the stars. I can't remember his name, a Greek guy, obviously. And he didn't want to name a position to the stars. He wanted to call them infinitely distant. And so this philosophy of infinite distance took on place. And that's where we're at. We're at this infinite distance and expansion. And, so this delusion of being able to see into the infinite space is right there in the math of Al-Biruni.
Now, you mentioned Aristotle, right? What did do you have any primary source stuff that Aristotle said? Or do you know of any?
Not presently. I just know that, he wasn't considering refraction as an issue. I believe
for what?
For the atmosphere.
Yeah, what I'm going for here is I've been hearing a lot of people through the years talk about Aristotle, but I never seen anyone cite anything. So I'm calling bullshit for right now. Until I see like a citation that claims what Aristotle said, and because I've never seen it, it might be correct. I've never seen it. That's what I'm saying. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries. I'll try to dig it up.
It's not for you. It's not for you. It's just a general call out to everyone to see if they can come up with something, including the flat earthers. Because I'm just saying I've never seen it. It's not just you.
So, out of all the Aristotle information you've come across, he's never mentioned he's mentioned refraction in his math and his.
No, I'm talking about the boats going over the horizon. I've never seen that.
I'm just talking about how they never calculated refraction. Like it's the same.
Okay.
It's the same idea of claiming that satellites are 20,000 miles out and there's a line to them, and then and then claiming the eclipses or whatever what you're seeing the sun and moon above the horizon at the same time is due to refraction. So it's this double speak, right?
Yes.
And it's hijacked by refraction. It's like it's almost like okay. Now,
let's hold up. Hey, Flat Earth Data, we can't go on. I got your point. I'm going to have to cut you right there. We got plenty of other people in there, all right?
Cheers, man.
You can stay. Don't go. I just don't want to go. We can go on for hours, is what I'm saying. JK38.
Yeah, I'm muting him now.
All right. I don't have much to add. I just wanted to say, please do not put us through 2 minutes of run. Please.
Yeah. Thanks, JK. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Jose, quickly.
Yeah, no comments. I think we hashed out Al-Biruni pretty well.
Thank you, sir. Neil. What's up, Neil?
Hey, you guys were asking if they had some sort of disease early. I got it.
Yes.
They all have Alzheimer's disease.
Alzheimer's.
Right? Alzheimer's, don't they forget?
Nice.
They can't remember?
Nice one, Neil. All right.
Alzheimer's. That's all I got for now. Keep it going. I'm in school right now. The school of QE.
Appreciate it, sir. That's a good one, man. I'll remember it. Thank you. Ravenous Brad.
What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
I'm just here to chill and kill and learn.
Chill and kill and learn. All right. Check out the Alzheimer's disease. You're going to get a lot of it right here in a few seconds. Appreciate it. Rumpus.
Gotcha.
Okay, you got one left, and that's the rumpus.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go. Okay, rumpus, you're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, you don't seem to understand that the Al-Biruni measurement. I know you want to try and mute me, QE, because you can't handle it. I know that. The problem you've got is you don't seem to understand that the apparent horizon and the geometric horizon, when you make a measurement from high up on a mountain, are very close. So when Al-Biruni did his measurement, He then ended up with a result that was within a few percent of the right answer because refraction only affected the result by a few percent. And there you have it. And Al Bruni's measurement is quite accurate and has been verified. It's very simple.
How do you know it's very
What?
close if you've never seen the geometric horizon?
Seeing the geometric horizon got nothing to do with modern day measurements of how we determine them. So that's actually irrelevant at that point.
Yeah, but we're talking about Al Bruni, right?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I just explained to you. He came up with a result for the radius, and that matches.
No, but you said
Let
they're
me
very
finish.
close.
Let me finish. And that gives you the same result as the
Rumpus.
modern day result. That gives you the same result as the modern day result. Therefore, it was accurate. Sorted.
So how
And
did this
how did-
switch from geometric horizon to non-geometric horizon happen? You know, it's such a radical change of format.
But
all of a
Darwin,
sudden.
3 years ago, about the Isle of Man, we Globers always referred to refraction. And then someone like Nathan would say, oh, no, look, it's all to do with holograms. They're making up holograms. And now you've finally discovered refraction. You're now all suddenly discover this whole new
So wait.
realm that we've been
Terrestrial
telling you about for
refraction,
3
right?
years. And suddenly you're all confused because you can't cope with more than two things. You can't cope with the fact that the horizon is determined by the geometry and refraction. There are two
That's,
factors.
I get
and you
that.
can't
I get
understand
that. Terrestrial refraction, Rumpus. I get the argument. The problem is, though, that
well then.
before you included, people were kind of like taking photographs and then disseminating where the edge of the Earth is, basically, of the curve. So, yeah, even though this may be technically the stance that you're now taking, you did
You're taking
originally
this.
spend a lot of time just taking a look at pictures and then saying, yeah,
Yeah,
that,
but Owen,
that is
you
where
didn't
the
listen to what I
edge
said.
of the globe is.
Let me explain again.
But
We
you did
always
do
allowed
that.
for refraction. We always included refraction. That's what the 7/6R calculation was. And we always mentioned it. And then Nathan would always say, oh, look, they're including 7/6R to allow for refraction. He would complain about it bitterly. And now you finally understood what we were talking about 3 years ago.
That's cute.
We do?
So do we or do we not
What?
have a geometric
Let's
horizon?
try it again. 3 years
Well,
ago,
this-
we went on.
Yeah,
and
we
on
heard you,
about including
Rumpus. Now you're being
refraction.
asked a question. Go ahead, Chocolate.
We all.
So do we or do we not have a
Sorry, I missed the last word. See what?
the geometric horizon?
It's a position. It's not the where the sky meets the water because
Then it's
that's
not a
defined by the
horizon.
apparent
So then it's
horizon.
not a horizon.
Then it's not a
It
horizon.
is a horizon.
No, you
It's
don't
a-
understand what a horizon
How is it a horizon?
Sorry, just one
Yeah,
second. Can I just, Rumpus, you don't understand what a horizon is. You seem to think it's a position marked with an X in a geometric model. It isn't. The horizon, even a retard understands what a horizon is. It's the point where the sky appears to meet the land or
Four
sea.
different
Why am I
horizons.
being talked through? I don't get it. Yeah, even idiots, like really stupid people, understand what a horizon is. It's not an X marks the spot position in a mathematical construct where you see the side of your own head when comparing to pictures. That's definitely not a horizon. That X marks the spot is not a horizon. You think it's a horizon because that particular horizon only exists in your model. Because, I mean, you can ask any of the Muppets we've dealt with recently, like, let's pick one at random, AB Science. I'll give you a quote from him. We do not see the geometric horizon, Rumpus. Now, if we don't see it, it's not a horizon. Now, you saying it's a point in my model, no, it just means it only exists in your model. Because if it's not a line where the sky apparently meets the ground or sea, it is not a horizon. So you've got a big problem. What you're calling horizon only exists as a point, side on, marked with an X, a single dot rather than a line, in a model where you're seeing the side of your own head, i.e. it's excluding perspective. So this X marks the spot horizon in your model is absolutely nothing like a horizon. We don't see the side of our own head, we don't see the horizon as a single point, and this horizon, geometric that it is never seen in reality, can't be seen in reality, does not exist beyond a thought experiment where you suck out all the atmosphere. We only have one horizon. Yours is geometric, and it doesn't exist in reality. It only exists as a point in your debunked model.
QE has already listed to you number of horizons he found on the National Geographic website. So there is more than one horizon.
No,
if
that's
you want
not
to
correct.
talk about the visual
That's
horizon,
not correct.
Let me finish.
No, you're wrong.
And the
No,
visual,
you're wrong.
let me finish.
What,
let me
what,
finish.
lying?
Let me finish.
No, I won't let you finish.
You
I'll
will
just
not
server mute you.
repeat it. You will not
keep server muting me.
Repeat.
It's Fundy muting me. So no, he didn't detail lots of different horizons. He cross-referenced how they were all exactly the same, with the exception of the true horizon. That would be a straight line, a kind of geometric term that's imaginary. So beyond that, they were all describing one horizon, the geometric horizon, because we only have one horizon, and they're all described as the same exact thing. So no, he wasn't describing multiple horizons, because we only have one horizon.
The thing about horizons is we all share visually.
Hold on a second, Arwen.
Right.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second, Arwen. Hold on a second. Wait a second. Okay, Rumpus, you get to answer. Arwen, let him answer.
Right. QE has already listed from the National Geographic website about 4 horizons. So even he accepts there's more than one horizon.
Hey, did you just listen? I don't know what it is. Do you got something in your ears? Nathan just explained to you that I went over a number of different horizons from the Nat Geo website, but all of them except one was talking about the geometric horizon. The other one was just an imaginary. He just explained this to you. So no, there's only one horizon. We only see one horizon.
That website listed a number of very different horizons.
Oh, God.
But if you want to talk about, oh, Jesus, I'm happy just to talk about the visual one, the one that we see where the sky meets the water. I'm happy just to talk about that one, but that's just one horizon. But I'm happy to talk about that. That's the apparent horizon. That's right. And so I'm happy just to talk about that.
Right.
Okay,
that geometric one.
But hold on.
Oh, Jesus.
Just hold on a second, Rumpus. Calm down. The geometric horizon is the apparent visible horizon, Rumpus.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is. By definition, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
Hold on, just 1 second, Rumpus. Sorry, Rumpus. Can I just, Rumpus, if I can get your attention just for 1 moment. So I detailed this with you. I know you had Zanuck there as your wingman to cause a lot of background noise while we were reading it out from Andrew Thomas Young's website. And he described the geometric horizon as something you had line of sight with. He also described it as, quote, apparent. Now that was when he was describing the geometric horizon. So according to Andrew Thomas Young, he describes us having a line of sight with it. Now he also goes on to explain that in the real world we'll never have line of sight with that. So he describes it as something apparent. He specifically details the geometric horizon as, quote, apparent, and as having, quote, line of sight, meaning we can see it, but we don't see it. He's just a double-speaking fundy moron who's lying to everybody and creating 2 horizons by having a thought experiment about a geometric horizon where we have no atmosphere, a situation we can never achieve. But he then simultaneously describes line of sight to an apparent horizon when detailing this thought experiment. So you seem to be incorrect when you say, no, the geometric horizon is not apparent, because it's detailed exactly in that vernacular by Andrew Thomas Young. A friend of yours, I believe.
It's up on screen now also. I have it on screen from the U.S. Department of Defense horizon. In general, it's the apparent or visible junction of the Earth and sky as seen from any specific position. Also called the apparent, visible, or local horizon. Well, what's the local horizon? Also called the geometrical horizon, is the visible boundary between the Earth and sky. It's over. They're done.
A horizon,
That's it.
a horizon's a visible place.
The apparent horizon. That is indeed the apparent horizon.
So 3
that's
years
the one
ago,
that
the
we
boats
see.
that were
Hold on,
disappearing,
can I
those were
finish,
disappearing
please? Can you
because
wait
of
Okay,
apparent
hold on a
horizon.
second. Let him speak.
Right.
Let him speak for a second. Wait a second, Rumpus. I'm going to let you speak. Well, hold on a second. I just read out the definitions for the geometric horizon. It's visible and apparent. Go ahead.
No, that's not the geometric horizon.
So, nuh-uh. I'm sorry, we don't do nuh-ahs here.
That's the geometrical one. No, you've read out the definition of the geometrical horizon.
Go ahead and mute him. We're going to move on. Time to move on, Rumpus. Sorry. It's right in front of your face. Everyone can see the definitions. They are on screen right now. Nuh-uh doesn't cut it. Okay?
And
Just
in
as
the,
simple
in,
as that.
in the past, I didn't hear multiple horizons. I've never heard that 3 years back.
You haven't?
No.
They didn't start arguing that until the Black Swan.
So
Yeah.
just
Apparently,
a quick
Black
question.
Swan changed their entire argument.
I would like to ask Rumpus one last question though, as he brought up the Isle of Man. Hopefully he's
Go
listening.
ahead. You can ask him. Go ahead, Betty.
So, just a quick question. So, which horizon were we seeing when we were looking at the Isle of Man? Was it a geometric horizon?
The apparent horizon.
Sorry, yeah, was that apparent horizon, which is described when being geometric by Andrew Thomas Young as also apparent having line of sight? Was it did we have line of sight to a physical geometric sphere edge horizon capable of blocking things when we discussed the Isle of Man? Was the horizon in the Isle of Man discussion geometric or not?
It was the apparent horizon.
Was it geometric?
It was the apparent horizon.
That's
Could
the
you draw
geometric horizon.
No,
Was
it's
it
not.
geometric or not?
We just went over the definition.
No, you're getting confused.
All right,
That's a
stop 'em.
geometrical-
Yeah,
that's
he's
a
saying it's an ad
geometrical,
hom.
not-
I'm not confused. It's a question you haven't answered. My question was very clear. Are we capable of drawing a straight tangent line to the horizon we debated in the Isle of Man? Did you draw a straight line to that physical geometric horizon or not?
No, I didn't.
So it wasn't geometry that you were doing then?
I'll explain again. There are two factors which give you the apparent horizon. One is the geometry of the Earth, and the second thing is refraction. Those
Okay.
two things combined.
So that's two
give you the
horizons.
apparent
So that's two
Very
horizons then.
simple.
So that's two horizons
So
then.
two horizons.
No,
That's
try
two
again,
horizons.
try
We
again.
don't, Rumpus. Rumpus, you're not
see
listening to the
apparent
rebuttal.
horizon.
You're not listening to
We
the
see
rebuttal,
apparent-
Rumpus. You're not listening to the rebuttal, are you? You're just filibustering. We call that rumpusing. Yet we only have one horizon, Rumpus. So it's not dependent on two things. Those two things, you mean two horizons. A geometric horizon based on the R value now debunked by the Black Swan. And a second apparent horizon? No, we've only got one horizon. Your second geometric position, which isn't apparent, is just an X marks the spot in a model that's been debunked, where you see the side of your own head and exclude perspective. So no, we don't have two horizons. I'm not misunderstanding anything. Now, if you're going to perform geometry to claim that the bottom of the beach is missing at the Isle of Man because there's a physical geometric sphere edge in the way, then you're going to need to be able to draw a straight line to it. For the geometry?
No, you don't.
You don't? Well, then you're not doing geometry.
In a bend, in a curve. Therefore, you do not need to draw a straight line. You need to.
Well, then you're not doing geometry. To do geometry, you need a tangent. That's what geometry is. You'd need to draw a tangent line, which is straight, to a point that you have marked in your model as being an R-based geometric physical sphere edge horizon. That's what doing geometry is. The tangent point is the top point of the claim to be curved Earth that you're doing geometry with, otherwise known as the horizon. And if you're saying, no, you haven't got a straight line, no, it's not geometric, then you can't perform geometry, Rumpus.
Curves are included in geometry.
Curves that you're drawing straight lines to. So he's double speaking you and lying to your audience. If you've got a sphere Earth beneath your feet, the only curve involved would be the curve of the Earth. And that curve of the Earth would give you a physical geometric sphere edge horizon that in order to do geometry, you have to draw a straight line to meet the tangent point. So in order to do geometry, you still require a line, a straight line, called a tangent, meeting that curved claim to be sphere Earth at the tangent point. That tangent point being a geometric sphere edge horizon that when we debated the Isle of Man, you claim blocked the bottom of the Isle of Man. Now, to do that geometry, you will require a tangent. That would be a straight line, not a bent one.
Light rays are curved and they can meet the Earth.
That's fascinating. We're not dealing with light when we're dealing with your geometric sphere edge calculations. It's purely geometry. Any assertions of light have the attached R value and 7/6 prior. So that doesn't make them optical in nature, that makes them mathematical in nature. So you require geometry, and your geometry requires a straight line.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. That's what geometry is. It seems Rumpus is stupid. He doesn't understand what is required to perform geometry. If you're standing on a sphere, as you claim you are, and you're going to perform geometry, then you need to draw a straight line. That would be called a tangent. Look it up. It's in the dictionary. And it's defined very specifically as a straight line. It will meet a tangent point. Now, the tangent point in your geometric model is the sphere edge horizon. It's marked with an X and labelled as horizon based on the R value. And when you perform geometry, you're going to require a straight line to it. Now, it turns out that all those lines you claimed you were doing geometry with weren't straight. Then you weren't doing geometry when you did the Isle of Man maths.
Geometry, you utter moron!
No, just calling me a moron is just an ad hominem attack. Just say it again. He's made it clear that the line of sight at the Isle of Man horizon was bent, refracted. Well, then he wasn't doing geometry. The whole thing was a lie and a sham, because you require a tangent to do geometry, and he doesn't have one anymore. We've taken that away from him with the Black Swan. So all he can now do is call me a moron when I point out that he requires a straight line, a tangent, to the top edge of his sphere that he's claiming he's standing on, also known as the geometric physical sphere edge horizon. You're going to need a straight line to that, and you haven't got one. I'm not a moron. Yep. I'm a flat earther debunking heliocentricity.
Curve can meet a surface at a tangent, you utter moron.
Yeah, a tangent, that's a straight line. Yeah, it meets a surface that's claimed to be curved in your model that we've destroyed with the Black Swan. It meets it at a tangent point. And the point is met by a straight line that you've no longer got.
Curves can meet a surface at a tangent.
A tangent's a straight line. Do we need to bring up the definition of what a tangent is? A tangent's a straight line. A tangent point is where that straight line meets a curve, and you're going to damn well need one. But you haven't got one for your little model anymore, have you, with your Muppet Vision side on seeing your own head, marking X as a single point when it's a line? A horizon's a line, not an X. It's not a point on a curve where you've drawn a tangent. That would be geometry, and you haven't even got a straight line anymore, Rumpus.
Curves meet a surface at a tangent.
A tangent's a straight line that you haven't got. Do you not understand what a tangent is? It's a straight line, and you've made it clear you haven't got one.
Curves can meet a surface at a tangent.
A tangent's a straight line. We know. I know a curve can meet a tangent point with a straight line sat on top of it. Yeah, that's geometry. But you don't have any straight lines to the horizon for the Isle of Man discussion you wasted our time with, you pathetic little man. Now we've got a situation where you can't do geometry because you don't have a tangent. So while you're saying a curve can meet a tangent, you haven't got one, little man.
Curves can meet a surface at a tangent.
A tangent's a straight line. He's going around in circles like he thinks he's got to win. He hasn't got a straight line. He's just made it clear at the beginning of this discussion that he can't draw a straight line. It's a refracted horizon. Therefore, he hasn't got a tangent. So what have you got? Nothing. You don't have a tangent, moron.
You don't understand what a tangent is. You don't understand.
No, I do. It's a straight line. Ad hom. I understand what a tangent is in geometry. It's a straight line drawn to the top point of your curved earth that you claim we're standing on. And in order to do geometry, you're going to need a tangent. You've made it clear 5 times with an affirmation of my argument. Yeah, you're going to need a tangent, but you haven't got one, have you? You've got a bent donkey dick line to the horizon, because according to you in the Isle of Man discussion, it's refracted. Well, if the Isle of Man and all of that crap's refracted, so's the horizon, and you can no longer do geometry to affirm that we've got a physical sphere edge horizon blocking the Isle of Man. You don't have a tangent, so you don't have geometry. You don't have a geometric horizon, so you don't have geometry. You don't have any perspective. You've got side-on Muppet view seeing your own head and the horizon marked as a single point when it's a line. This model is dead. It's been killed 5 times over by me.
Stated earlier that geometry doesn't include curves. That just means
it doesn't include curves. Yeah, you can have a curve when you're claiming your Earth's curved, and you're going to need a straight line tangent to the top of that curve at a point marked in your model as being a horizon, a single point that's not a line crossing the periphery of my vision. No, in your model, you see the side of your own head and see the horizon as a single point that doesn't exist in reality unless you apparently suck all of the atmosphere out. So you haven't got a tangent, you haven't got a straight line, you haven't got a curved Earth, and your model's dead.
And any basics in geometry. You're an idiot.
That's just an ad hom. He's dead. No more. I'm done with him. He can't come back into the conversation. That's the end. He's lost.
Yeah, he's done. It all stopped when he said, "Nuh-uh, to the definition of the geometric horizon. It was really over at that point. But yeah, that was fun. Arwen, did you like that? I gave him more than 2 minutes.
That was great. No, it's funny how he tried to literally bend the rules and basically try to state, no, you can perfectly fine to have curved lines in geometry. It's absurd. It's fantastical, and Rumpus is going places in Fantasyland, man.
Not curved.
No, he's not going anywhere here. At least he behaves somewhat, so we're going to keep him here.
Not curved lines.
Yeah, we're going to keep.
Hold on, just let me make my correction. Curved tangent. You can't have a curved tangent. It's a straight line, but that's what he's got.
Yeah, exactly. That was clear. I think everyone got that, Nathan. Yes, exactly. He was conflating the two. Yep. All right, Betty.
Yeah.
We're going to try to get through the rest of this, but that was good. I like that. Any admin?
No.
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 Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. All right, we're gonna roll on.
I do like the sort of progression on which we have made from the Isle of Man to now, and how things have, I hardly dare say it, evolved and stuff. And I think, my God, now if we would put these two shows together, the first ones on Nathan's and this one, then a lot of these arguments they can't make anymore because they double speak or go backtrack their own arguments back then, right? It doesn't make sense. I think I heard you guys say about the bulge of the Earth. They wanted to see that, but that's a physical thing, wasn't it? that body of water. I remember that you were searching for the body of water or whatever.
Yep.
It used to be
Bulge.
physical.
Remember the bulge?
Yeah.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Ooh.
What happened to the bulge?
It's dead.
They
It
took
was
it out.
never there. It was always just a regular optical horizon now. It's just...
They removed it at one stage. So while we were debating the Isle of Man, the bulge just got removed from the Metabunk calculator.
Yes. Yep. I remember that. Yeah, because there is no bulge. It's got ball timers.
Isn't it called the Sagitta now?
The bulge is called the Sagitta?
What's the middle line of the bulge?
There is no bulge.
No, on the Earth curvature calculator. They've changed it. That's right, but they changed it to give it another name.
Yeah, they removed it.
Well,
You know what else got removed? Mick West, dude. Where's he been?
He knows it. He's got ball timers too.
Hold on. At the coast, though, there are some spots where there is tidal bulging. So there is like a literal bulge going on, but it's
but that's not
and not to the curvature of the presupposed spherical.
That's
Earth.
equivocating. That's a tidal bulge. That's different than the bulge that they were talking about. So that's an equivocation fallacy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna roll. I thought we were gonna be done by now, but it doesn't look that way. But that's okay. 4 more hours. You're all gonna like. No, you're all gonna like this one. So, Mike Discipline, we're gonna head on to the next one. The angle to Polaris changes 1 degree every 69 miles south. Right? You like that one? Yeah. Number 1, this isn't a scientific inquiry or proof because angles are not natural phenomena. Number 2, the measurement is based or taken from the horizon. Well, you got some problems now. This is what I was talking about in the beginning. Now, because of the Black Swan, you got a big problem, ballers, with your little game. There's a number of problems. This is the biggest one. According to you, we never see the geometric horizon. It's refracted. So how in the world can you obtain an accurate angle to Polaris from a refracted horizon? Por favor. Does the sextant come in with a built-in self-adjusting refractometer? If the horizon is loomed, yeah, that's a train wreck. That is, the horizon is displaced above the actual horizon, which isn't looming, but humor me. See the Just So Story fairy tale, every baller is mindlessly parroted for the last 3 months. Then are your angles that you conjured or mindlessly parroted from other delusional space monkey numpty dipshits accurate? Or are they horse pucky bollocks? I'm putting my money on the last one here. You're finished. You're dead. Number 3, latitude and longitude lines aren't friggin' real. They're imaginary and are based on a sphere. The Eratosthenes, that means you have a begging the question fallacy on your hands with the imagination. A double whammy. Number 4, overall, this entire Polaris angle fiasco is an affirmative consequent formal logical fallacy. If P, then Q, Q, therefore P. If the spherical Earth with a radius of la 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 is true, P, we will observe differing elevation angles to Polaris as a function of distance from the North Pole, Q. We observe differing elevation angles from the North Pole, Q. Therefore, the Earth is a sphere. Therefore, P. It's a train wreck fallacy. You need to prove the spherical Earth first, crayon munchers. And P.S. Please actually support your claim. That is, this is what I mean. We need to see the sextant with the built-in self-adjusting refractometer. Mic discipline, please. A, you need to show the sextant with the built-in self-adjusting refractometer and the calibration certificate. B, we need to see a brain-dead baller stand on the geographic North Pole and show us Polaris above their head, 90 degrees. C, support at least 5 other points with a multiple of 69 miles from the geographic North Pole and the degree measurement. One must be at the equator. We're not dealing with any of your images you pulled off a wiki or any graphics or any harebrained crap trap models. We're not going to be accepting those. We work at the really is level. So I don't mind your proof right here, but we need to see one of your brain dead ballers actually provide the support in reality. That's not unreasonable request. It's your claim, you prove it. And PS2, as Polaris gets closer to the not actual horizon, its position is also apparent due to celestial refraction. Is this going to cause any problems for you? And validate that Polaris is 323 light years away. That's the current measurement. It's not a measurement. It's the current Just So story. By the way, the previous estimate was 434 light years. Guess what that error is? 643 trillion miles. Do you understand? I don't think people can. It's difficult to grasp this number. 1 trillion is difficult to grasp. 1 trillion seconds. Guess how many years 1 trillion seconds equals? About 32 billion years. Just to give you a framework of what we're talking about here. This is a tear-jerking belly laugher, folks. PS3, Polaris isn't 90 degrees above magnetic north either. Many of you baltards don't know what the different norths are, right? There's the difference between magnetic north, the geographic north, that's true north, grid north, and celestial north. Now, PS number 4, attempting to discern the shape of what you're standing on by looking to the heavens is tantamount to trying to ascertain the shape of Cassiopeia by looking at a mud bog. Yeah, utter. You get the gist. In conclusion, what we got here is known in the industry as a convoluted circle jerk, peddled and mindlessly parroted by no-depth wiki Discovery Channel parroting pretender clown muppets that couldn't discern their difference between their asses and a pipe wrench. That's what we got here, folks. The sun doesn't change angular size throughout the day. This is a good one. Along with the standard model being a slap in the face violation of the second law of thermodynamics, we have this numpty knucklehead Nazi. Gah! So, angular size means apparent size. B, apparent in our context means not actual. According to your fairy tale narrative, the sun's position is also apparent. So the retard's actual query is, why does the not actual size, that's the angular size of the sun, not decrease its not actual size as it moves from its not actual position? They don't know, they don't realize that that's what their question is, but that's what it is. Why does the not actual size of the sun not decrease its not actual size as it moves from its not actual position? That's what your question is. Shocking. False equivalence fallacy. Is there a difference between terrestrial observation and celestial observations when considering angular or apparent, not real size and position? You think? Now here we go again. This entire fiasco is an affirmative consequent formological fallacy. If P, then Q, Q, therefore P. If the sun is 93 million miles away or whatever you friggin' claim it is now, who knows, it'll be different by tomorrow. If it's that far from the Earth, P, then the angular side of the sun will remain the same throughout the day, Q. We observe the angular side of the sun remaining the same, Q. Therefore, the sun is 93 million miles away. This is a train wreck, folks, of epic proportions. Stop clumsily circle jerking us around with your mindlessly parroted second grade playground fallacy fantasies and prove the sun is 93 million miles away first. Daft Muppets! Oh, by the way, does the sun change size? You can go ahead and put this into any search engine. Chris Van Maitre, back in the day, the apparent size of the sun does change throughout the day and the year. I don't really care about this, but their question up here, or their premise, we observe the angular size of the sun remaining the same, is false. Questions, comments?
I remember laughing my head off when I first heard that broken down. Why does the not actual size of the sun not change its not actual size as it moves from its not actual position? Like, yeah,
yes, sir.
It's a complete cluster screw. It's just, again, it's undoubtedly going to be put on the flat earth to explain. How do you explain why the not actual size of the sun doesn't change its not actual size as it moves from its not actual position? How do you explain this?
Yeah.
Hey QE, were you aware that BMLSB69 on his older videos before the Black Swan ones, like if you go further down, he's got a video of with the solar filter and the sun.
I wasn't aware of that. I seen Chris Van Maitre's video. That was old. I think it was, don't quote me, I think it was 2016 back in the day, but I didn't see it, no.
Yeah, but Chris Van Maitre, like there's the argument against that one is that throughout the year. And they'll claim that, well, obviously we're moving away from the sun, blah, blah, blah. But the BMLSB69 is through the day.
No, he did it with the day. Chris did it to the day, too.
Oh, he did? I was only aware of the one where it was throughout the year.
Yeah, he did a few throughout the year, but he definitely had some days in there, yes. Yep. But okay, I might check those out. Thank you. Chocolate? Choco. Sorry, Chocolate. No. Yeah, you're eating? Okay, I forgot Arwen. Sorry about that, Arwen. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Oh, God. It's... Yes. At some point, your brain just melts. And yeah, what you said, they go into delusional territory very early on and then just try to improvise their way through, basically. And to behold this from the sidelines, still having grasp of foundational logic and all that, it's just a spectacle of insanity. And yeah,
Thank you.
just sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. Chocolate, what you eating, man?
Spaghetti.
I'm talking about.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Extra cheese.
All right. Yeah, thanks. Now, you got any thoughts on this angular size of the sun and all the fallacies and the Polaris? And what do you think about that?
Me?
I
Well,
think it's funny.
No, Chocolate, you're done.
I'm done.
No, I love that question with the sun, because it's like, why are you even asking the question that the angular size does change? So
Yeah.
the whole question is just like stupid from the gate. But even if you allow that it doesn't change, well, why does it matter? It's not actual size, not changing. It's not actual position as it moves to the sky. I mean, come on. It means nothing.
Yes, sir.
Especially because it happens. So just why don't you guys retire the question?
I remember back in the day, people were using Weldon helmets. Yeah. I remember all that stuff, man. That was I got a good chuckle out of it. Jose Mesa.
No comments. Maybe just the whole 1 degree for 69 miles. I like how that's been hammered out, because that's a classic global argument. You know, like I used to go to gyms like early on in the years, and I remember that's like the one thing they would always repeat is how do you explain the sun decreasing 1 degree for every 69 miles? And it's very nice how you apply it to the black swan. You know, just destroys the whole globe model little by little. And if it doesn't, which it does, but if they claim it in one position and not another, you can see the contradiction. So it's lovely either way.
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever seen anyone they claim the proof. Have you ever seen any baller 90 degrees show a 90-degree measurement with Polaris directly 90 degrees above their head? Has anyone ever seen that?
No, of course not.
No. I mean, just with that, it's over. You can't use graphics and models and then say this is reality. No, you got to go do it. So we want to see when you make that claim, flat earthers, if you get challenged with this claim, pull up this video, right? And go step by step through it and have them, show you those things, even though it's a train wreck anyway from their black swan refracted horizon nonsense. You can stop right there, but where's the fun in that? Make them do it. Make them show it to you in reality is what I'm trying to say.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
All
one degree every 69 miles doesn't give you a curve anyway. It gives you a slope.
Careful with that. Be careful with the slope calc. It doesn't matter anyway, because you're not going to get it. The whole thing is dead right at their refracted horizon. You can't get accurate measurements. Every single measurement won't be accurate. It's the base. The base is a rubber ruler, is what I'm trying to say.
I heard a very odd rumor, if I may for a second, that when you go further to the North Pole after a certain latitude, the angle by which the sky rotates as you go northwards starts to decline in how much it rotates. So you can attribute all kinds of weird presuppositional geometric conclusions from that, but I'm not going there. But it is like a weird little factoid that's kind of bumped into. And I don't know how much there is to it even. But that it was just conceived is, somewhat odd.
Hey, thanks, Arwen. Yeah, thanks. All right. Nope, I haven't heard that. No. Let me make a decision here. Do we want to go through this again? Let me check the time. Yeah, because I did present those two, so we got to have at least an opportunity for a rebuttal. So, Betty.
Yes. You want to have people talk?
Yes. Yes, but listen, guys. When Betty unmutes you, we want to hear what you have to say, but try to keep it concise. Okay, go ahead, Betty. You got the con.
Yeah. I'm going to dish short. I think that's Lemon Bird, maybe. You're unmuted.
Yes. The main thing with the Polaris thing and all these angles and the angular size of the sun, you'd expect an inverse relationship because when you get up higher, the horizon's further out, so stuff would tend to disappear due to angular size before it reaches the horizon. But as you get closer to the flat plane, the opposite would be true. The horizon would be brought in, and stuff that's high up, like the sun and other things, would maintain their angular size before setting early. Although there is evidence of the sun changing angular size anyway, you wouldn't expect it to change size by much when it sets early due to perspective.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we got Alboriqua.
Albacore tuna.
I just got in here, so I kind of missed the first part of it. I apologize.
All right.
Okay. And Flat Earth Data. I think you're still unmuted.
Yeah, I just find it fascinating that when discovering Polaris, that I couldn't find any pictures from Zenith, and I found that quite astonishing. I was like, well, if there's a North Pole, why isn't there any photography, any video of a zenith position of it? So I was blown away by that, and I couldn't find one in the south either. And then until maybe a year ago, I was presented with a 360 ball image of the South Pole, and it was just like, this is the evidence they have. Wow, using a 360 degree camera to claim they're taking a zenith picture at the South Pole. This is just like, it's the desperation. At that point was obvious to me. So.
Okay.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for being concise, Mac. Yep. Go ahead, Betty.
We got JK38. You have any comments?
No comments. Keep doing what you're doing, John. Thank you.
Okay. We got someone else. It's called John Shelton. You have any comments or questions?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
I was put together like a logical argument about the horizon being refracted as.
Yeah, it's illogical.
Yeah, if refraction is light changing angles, then a refracted object should have a different angle. The horizon doesn't change angles as proven by sextants and theodolites. Therefore, the horizon isn't.
Fair enough. I'll have to review that. Is that all you got?
Yes, sir. That was about it. I just wanted to get that out there because when they first said the refracted horizon, I about shit.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate that. Yeah. I wasn't ready for that. You caught me off guard. Jose. Oh, sorry, Betty. You're in charge.
No, Jose is good. Yeah.
No, I already went. You guys, I'm good.
We got Neil Cosentino.
Neil!
What's up, QE? Cosentino. Let's get it right.
Oh, sorry.
Now, I'm tired of all of these people with their Google searches to get information, and all they do is spit it out as it comes on the screen. Bunch of bullshit. Keep going, QE. I'm walking the dog, so I'm going to get hit with a gust of wind soon.
Okay, man. Thank you.
Yeah, they copy paste it and then try to attack you with it before they actually read into what they're using.
Yeah, that happens all the time. You're right.
Okay, and then we got Ravenous Brad.
Doing what you do, QE. I'm just here to chill, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, we got Steve Arm here. You're muted.
What's up,
Steve? Hey, you guys. Hey, everything's good, QE. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, Steve.
They got the rumpus again. And what he's got, right?
Give him his final 2 minutes.
Now he behaved pretty well. So go ahead.
Right. I mean, the fact you don't understand the Polaris argument is just incredible. On a flat Earth, following a line of longitude, you would get an arc-tan relationship. I could draw it for you, but I obviously can't draw in this stupid forum, in this Discord thing. But if you understood the geometry, you would understand that only on a sphere would you get the 1 degree change per 69 miles. Only on a sphere. So the fact
Okay, show us.
that change, yeah. I can show. If I can draw. Shall I draw you? A
No. What did that? Stop him right now. Stop him, Betty.
I did.
You put him on mute.
Yeah, I did. But what?
Okay.
What?
How many times did I say this during the presentation with Polaris? That we not going to accept any drawings, any diagrams, any models. Now, you don't have to do it, Rumpus, but we want somebody to do it. This is what I asked for. I'm going to tell you again. You need to actually support it. So, A, you need to show the sextant with the built-in self-adjusting refractometer and the calibration certificate. That's A. B, we need to see one of the brain-dead ballers stand on the geographic North Pole and show us Polaris 90 degrees above their head. C, support at least 5 other points with a multiple of 69 miles from the geographic North Pole and the degree measurement. One must be at the equator. And D, I'm going to say this real slow. None of any drawings or images or graphics or hair-playing claptrap models will be accepted. We work on the really is level. We want somebody to do it. Rumpus, it doesn't have to be you. We just want somebody to do that. I think it's reasonable. Not you, but you as the royal you have claimed it as Baltards. We'd like to see it in reality. Betty, please take him off mute and see if he understands what I just said.
Right, but do you agree that the angle of Polaris changes by 1 degree every 69 miles?
No, I do not.
Longitude?
I do not.
Well, then you're disputing basic observations then.
I'm sorry, you have not supported your claim.
No one disputes this of any set who's got any sense.
No one ever proved it.
Of course they have.
Go on, then.
To any observation
Go on,
on
then.
Polaris,
Let's have them then.
this.
You said any observations. Okay. Let's have them. Let's have them then. Give them us.
I had them to hand, but they do exist.
You haven't got them to hand. It's your claim.
Navigation disputes this.
Sorry,
if you're
you haven't got them to hand.
Real quick.
Why am I being
Could you look one up
about
real
2
quick?
words out? So you haven't got the observations to hand. In other words, you don't have the observations. So specifically, you've been asked to actually back this. Show somebody at the North Pole with Polaris directly above them, and then show at least a few measurements actually being done. Don't just tell us that it's accepted. We want to see it. Back your claim. Don't tell us it's accepted.
Don't dispute this. Get them to take some pictures of Polaris from various latitudes, and they will show you that there's a 1 degree difference for
They
every
will show me when
69
I
miles.
take them. Sorry, I've just asked you to show them, and you're telling me to go and take them. This is your claim.
Yes, and there's no one of any sense disputes this. Even
I don't want to hear it. I'm sick of hearing it. I don't want to hear it.
Stop him.
I don't want to hear it about how nobody disputes this. I've just said we want to actually see it, and his response to that is, you can go and take these pictures. So immediate burden of proof reversal fallacy. No, I'm not going to go and do anything. You can go and take them. You can prove your claim. Don't just tell us it's accepted. Prove it.
Yeah. Was there any?
Yeah, if I provided you evidence, you'd say, "Oh, you're not."
No, stop him! Stop him! Stop him! No, we don't want you to divine what we're going to say in the future. You don't have special Evo mind powers, right? All we're asking for, and it's quite reasonable, is support. Now, I went through each step. There was only 5. I'm going to put them on screen so everyone can see them one more time. Okay? Let's go back up here. This is what we're going to need. I'm going to do this last time. Please actually support your claim. A, show the sextant with the built-in self-adjusting refractometer and the calibration certificate you realize you need that refractometer because of your previous claim of the horizon being refracted. So I'm going to need, A is very important. A is the first step. If you don't show me A, don't show me B, C, or D, because I need to see A. And it's very reasonable. B, we need to see a brain dead baller stand on the geographic North Pole and show us Polaris 90 degrees above their head. That is a reasonable request for the claim. C, support at least 5 other points with a multiple of 69 miles from the geographic North Pole and the degree measurement. One must be on the equator. Again, very reasonable within your claim. And D, none can be images or graphics or harebrained claptrap models. They're not going to be accepted. We don't want any drawings for you to show us how it is geometrically. We work at the really is level. We need to see this in reality. From the panel, is this unreasonable?
No, not only is it not unreasonable. Not only is it not unreasonable, it seems that Rumpus thinks this is extremely easy to acquire based on his attitude. So I'm going to charge him personally with it. The date is 2nd of May 2020. I'm charging Rumpus personally with providing us with this evidence, given how easy he thinks it is to make this and how easy it is for me to do it, even though it's not my claim. But given that it is his claim, I'm charging him personally with acquiring this actual data.
Go ahead, Rumpus.
You could do this live in this hangout and get 5 people from different latitudes and see what their angle to Polaris is, and you would find it supports that.
That's
evidence.
fascinating. It's not my claim.
Yourself.
That's fascinating.
No
I'm charging you with it.
it.
Yeah, it's your claim, and I'm charging you with it. So I want you to go and back your claim with evidence. Not me. I don't care what you think I can go and do to back your claim. I'm not going to do that ever. So on the 2nd of May 2020, I personally, Nathan Oakley, have set down a challenge to the Rumpus, given how easy he says it is for me to do it, for him to do it, given that it's his claim. And we're calling bullshit on this claim. He'll never do it. He'll never achieve it. It's not easy. He won't acquire it. He'll never demonstrate it. That's my personal challenge I'm laying down here for him to do it, not to reverse the burden of proof immediately for the 3rd time and say it'd be very easy for me to do it. If it's very easy for me to do it, and I'm not going to be because it's not my claim, it will be very easy for Rumpus to do it. And from this date forward, I will highlight the fact that he's told me how easy it is, and he's going to damn well do it to back his claim. I will hold him to it.
Thank you.
You do not the North Pole to make this claim supported by evidence. I can go, if you like, okay, I can get
So
some
you
globals
just
to do
don't
this.
need evidence for your claim, really?
Hold
on, Chocolate.
4 seconds into my bloody answer. Right, I can go and get some globers at different latitudes to give you this data. But no doubt, the reason I mentioned you could do it was so that you wouldn't then dispute the evidence I could provide. So but I can go and get people of different latitudes to do this, and it will show this relationship that is well established.
Don't tell me what's well established. Go and get it. Yeah? I want to see North Pole directly above someone. I want to see someone flat on their back with a camera in their hand, taking a picture of Polaris. That's what I want to see. Don't tell me that it's not going to be needed. It's absolutely going to be needed if that's your starting reference point. So you better have the North Pole in your little bunch of shite that you present.
No, it's not needed at all to demonstrate the relationship.
Sorry, not needed.
It is. I just gave them to you.
It is needed. So already he's failed. So let me get this straight. This claim fails immediately. I don't even need to keep a timer. You can't do it.
You don't understand how...
That's an ad hom. So I'll just make... 2 minutes after my challenge? You failed. You failure. You can't do this. You're a baller that just made out that it was really easy. Surely you listened. You're not a dumb idiot that doesn't listen to the stipulations that you're being challenged with when you turn the burden of proof around on me and say it's really easy to acquire. Suddenly you're weaseling out of how easy it is. That's absolutely pathetic, Rumpus.
The criteria applied by QE is irrelevant.
Oh, really? Well, that's the criteria that we challenge you based on your claim.
I don't want to hear it.
That's the criteria. Tough luck, that's your claim. It's not our claim. It's a baller claim that you think proves a ball. Well, you can either go out and do it, or you can say it's not relevant, and I'll declare that you've failed, you miserable little scrote.
Scrote? Yeah. I had those criterion up. They're quite reasonable for the claim. You need to do it. If you don't do it, then you don't have a claim anymore. It's just that simple. Betty.
May I
Yeah.
interject in
No, go ahead. Who wants to interject? Keep it concise, please.
So, just regarding the 1.22, it's funny enough that Rumpus is claiming the 69.169 miles per degree change for the circumference is 24,901 miles, right? If it's an inversion of our reality, which this globe to be, it would still have a radius, it would still have a circumference, and it would have a. This 1.22 is quite interesting because if I take 1.22 and turn it into radius, times it by 180 and divide it by 3.14, I get 69.9 degrees, which the 1.2 always leads back to that angular resolution.
Yep.
So quite interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and you are correct. Thank you. Thanks, Flat Earth Data. Appreciate that.
Was he chopping for you? He was chopping for me. Maybe I need to drop him.
Yeah, Flat Earth Data. Yeah, he was just a little bit. Go ahead and jump out and jump back in for the next round. You're gonna love this one.
I just want to
Betty, any admin?
Just before.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nathan.
His point was good enough to reiterate. So he's saying it always comes back to the angular resolution limit in the Rayleigh criterion when you back engineer the globe maths for both celestial and terrestrial observations. So there's no coincidence that it's tied back into perspective, and that was the point he was making. Very good point.
Yep. Outstanding. Betty.
Yeah.
I know you've been busy. Any admin?
No, there's no admin. No.
What?
No, that's well, maybe they are just good listeners now, right?
I can live with that.
Just chatting.
I can live with that, guys. It's okay.
I have a thing with the. I know that they try to get you with the Polaris thing, and I think it's a perspective thing, right? But that's it, because when you go away from something, something goes nearer to the horizon. So I think that's that. But I thought that this also you could see Polaris or the Southern Cross near to the equator, whatever the equator is, right? And you could see both of them. Is that correct, or am I wrong in this?
Which one? Say that one more time, Betty. I missed that.
Yeah, I thought that you had the sailors back in the day where they could see Polaris and they could see, I think, the Southern Cross, right?
Yes, I do have that citation somewhere. It is. I'd have to dig it out. I think it's from the 13th degree south latitude. Both Polaris and the Southern Cross could be seen. Yes, I have that.
Yeah, so isn't that strange that if you can do that, right? But isn't that why they call it an oblate spheroid or whatever? Or pear-shaped? I don't know.
What do you mean? What do you mean, today or yesterday? Oblate. Somebody needs to tell NASA about that. Listen, my point was just this. I don't have a problem with the claim. I have the problem with the lack of support for it. Right? Now, if they want to do it, I put the criterion up there. It was quite reasonable. I felt the refractometer within the sextant was right on point because they're taking their measurements from where?
But isn't that
anyone from the horizon?
Refracted horizon.
They're taking their measurements from the horizon. In their previous arguments against the Black Swan, which is a train wreck, by the way, they claimed that the horizon's refracted. Well, you have to account for that refraction with the sextant. That is not an unreasonable request.
But
it follows perfectly.
Do they?
I'm sorry, Betty. Go ahead.
They don't do that with sextants, do they?
No.
No. They just
hold on.
Right?
Sorry, small correction. There are definitely sextants with refractometers available. I've seen them on bullshit.com.
Do they have almanac to go with it? You do know that with a sextant you also need an almanac to sort of know your position and whatever. There is some sort of a formula to calculate this stuff.
Well, I didn't ask them for their almanac. I thought it was, like I said, they were up on screen. I thought they were quite reasonable. They weren't outlandish. They follow logically. I'm going to need to see that. Don't give me any of the drawings or models. Like I said, it's quite reasonable. They were up on screen. Everyone's seen them. If they could fog a mirror, they know they were reasonable.
It's
So-
just
But
a
you
quick
said
question then.
equator, and I didn't understand that because what's the equator?
I've just got a quick question
well,
about the.
that's not my problem.
I've got a quick question.
Oh, you claimed that it must be an equator, right? Because
Go ahead, Nathan. Go ahead.
Well, the question about the refractometer is it acceptable to just plug 7/6R into the sextant?
Where'd they get the radius from?
I don't know, but is it acceptable to just beg the question on steroids and insert the refractometer with the terrestrial refractometer values? I'm just asking.
No, because it's a circular banjo do-si-do. They got the radius from the refracted horizon. From Al Baruni, old Blubby upstairs that we clobbered already. You see the problem? It's a never-ending, convoluted circle jerk of a train wreck disaster. That's what it is. Everyone could see. I hope you can see it. If you can't see it by now, if you're out in the audience and you can't see this, I'm sorry. You got bigger issues than whether the Earth is flat or sphere or not. I'm sorry. That's what it is.
Now, by the way.
Go ahead.
Okay, I got some from Rakia Live, and he says, "Stick your admin where the sun don't shine."
That's what your sister said, Dave.
Thanks, Rakia.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rakia. Oh, Nathan, go ahead. You want to say something?
No, I said that's what your sister said, Dave.
I got another one from Brian's Logic, and he says, "It's always delta X, but X is never provided or acknowledged."
Got that right. Thanks, Brian. You're exactly right. Stick on that. Don't let them breathe. Always confirm the X before delta X in any context. You got it. Kudos.
Yeah,
all right. Anything else, Betty? We're going to roll on.
No, this is it.
All right, Mike Discipline, guys. So we got RPMs versus speed. This is dedicated to Mr. Natural Experiment Birds Humping, Gimp Panda, and Fight the Fat Girth. Gimp Panda has had this argument from day one. I tried to walk him through step by step, explain this to him. They just can't get it. I don't know what to say. You don't measure speed or rate by angular velocity revolutions. Next block of instructions, how to say the in the winter. It's all in the units of measure, folks. Speed equals distance per unit time. That's miles per hour, kilometers per hour. Whereas angular velocity is revolutions per unit time. That's RPS, RPM, RPD, RPW, RPM. You're getting it. RPY. Distance equals revolutions like gazelle equals hubcap. It's just the clumsy, daft, muppet false equivalence fallacy, folks. RPMs are utterly irrelevant and meaningless red herring fallacy to the discussion. We're talking about tangential speed. You don't measure speed or rate by revolutions. Hello? All points on a rotating sphere have the same angular velocity. Duh. However, those same points don't have the same rate or speed or tangential speed. It's tantamount to exclaiming to Dale Earnhardt Jr. on a 50-mile track, "Why was your car smashed to smithereens, Dale? You were only doing one revolution every 25 minutes. Right? It's stupid. When they report speed or rate of the cars race around the Brickyard 400, did they report it in RPMs? How about drag races like quarter mile? Since there are no revolutions, then according to the Baltard Crayon Muncher's logic, the dragster's speed or rate has to be zero. When a cop pulls you over for speeding, does he tell you how many RPMs you were going over the RPM limit? You think? To call this juvenile mind-numbing absurdity is actually insulting to juvenile mind-numbing absurdities. Oh, here comes a good one. The Foucault pendulum. Here we go again. Plusmaths.org. Once you set one in motion, its direction of swing will rotate at a rate of about 0.2 degrees every minute. But in fact, it isn't really the pendulum that's rotating. The pendulum is swinging back and forth in exactly the same direction. It's the Earth which is rotating underneath the pendulum, which makes it appear that the pendulum is in fact changing direction. What's this sound like? Huh? Does this sound like similar to the Coriolis effect? If it does, you're exactly right, because you got two different reference frames and you have an apparent deflection. Hello? If this is true, if this definition is true, then why couldn't we just hover in a helicopter in North Carolina for 3 hours and catch a Dodger game? Because if this is true, this is true. Number one is true. You're dead. Number two, if the Foucault pendulum is legit, which denotes two separate reference frames, like I just went over above, then a flight, I know you've heard this before, from Charlotte, North Carolina to LA nonstop, traveling at 500 miles an hour airspeed, with both locations roughly at 35th degree north latitude, that is both allegedly spinning at 860 miles an hour, should be approximately 1.5 hours. But it's actually 4.5 hours. Charlotte to LA flight, airspeeds 500 miles an hour, ground speed 500 plus 860 mile an hour alleged rotation speed that's coming in your face because you're traveling west from North Carolina. The Earth's spinning underneath you, coming in your face. So you have to add those speeds. That's 1,360 miles an hour. Distance between Charlotte, North Carolina, and LAX is 2,115 miles. The flight time must be approximately 1.5 hours. The actual flight time is 4.5 hours. Does this 1.5 hour flight time ever happen? No? Then say bye-bye now to the ball-tard spinning space monkey religion. Let's go for a quick one. Neil deGrasse Tyson discussing Felix Baumgartner's 128,000 foot jump. So there's no observable curvature at 128,000 feet. Yet these ballers claim that there's observable curvature standing on the ground. Well, what's that? Something's not lining up here. See Clownly, etc. This is one of the more belly-laughing, slap-in-the-face contradictions out there. Is your clinical level Dunning-Kruger so virulent that you think even people that have trouble fogging a mirror don't see or recognize this? You clowns feebly then try to distance yourselves from the astrophysicist Neil Smoking deGrasse Tyson, but that dog isn't going to hunt here. He's unquestionably and unequivocally a spokesman, priest, a scientist in your world for your ball-tard spinning space monkey religion. So no throwing him under the bus. Okay? I like the next one. Questions, comments?
I'll just say I think that's my favorite one is the nonsensical pendulum that you have to set in motion in the first place, that they claim the Earth is spinning underneath while it's attached to the Earth, but they'll claim that we don't see this effect and we're not supposed to see it with planes that are 6-7 miles in the air that are flying against the rotation. We don't see that. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's a train wreck, like I like to say. Done.
What are you talking about? Chocolate, don't planes fly backwards according to Danny T?
Oh, man.
The Foucault pendulum, you know, it's just a device to make you imagine, to step away from the really is level for a moment and just imagine the Earth spinning underneath that. That's the only thing it really does. Other than that, it doesn't do anything.
Thanks, Arwen. Nathan.
Yeah, it's the of the Earth turning underneath that gets missed off a lot of the descriptions. So if you're a YouTuber and you get globehead commenters like I do, they'll say things like 15 degrees per hour proves the Earth spins. And what they actually mean is a claim of a spinning reference frame of a ball Earth turning underneath the fixed frame of a gyro in the inertial reference frame at a rate of 15 degrees an hour. In other words, the Earth's turning underneath the gyroscope, or the Earth's turning underneath the pendulum, or, in another Neil deGrasse Tyson example when he's detailing a football that's kicked and apparently goes in a straight line, but from the stand seems to curve into the goal. Well, that's because the Earth's turning underneath, the goalposts are moving, the ball's travelling in a straight line but only looks like it's curving. Well, all of those examples have the Earth turning underneath. So for there to be a Coriolis effect, Earth's got to turn underneath anything that leaves the Earth. And that would include drones, helicopters, balloons, bullets, aeroplanes, anything, if you jump up and down, to have the effect. And like you say, Charlotte, North Carolina to LA would take an hour and a half. And it takes about 4.5 hours. Why? Well, because the Earth isn't turning underneath.
Yeah, I stressed that part about it rotating underneath. Tangled webs they weave, man.
Got one other point if no one else
All right.
anything. No?
You want to add something, Nathan?
Yeah. Well, it's one of those that I still to this day get people moaning at me about the Netflix claim to be proof of a spinning Earth with the fibre optic gyro giving you 15 degrees. End of sentence from the claimant. Well, that exact claim is a claim of Coriolis effect. So if anybody asserts that a flat Earth has proved that the Earth is turning with a fibre optic gyro or any pendulum, assert, as is the case, that if the Earth turns underneath a pendulum or a gyroscope, then it also turns underneath aeroplanes. It is that simple. That's the rebuttal to this argument. If the Earth turns underneath the gyroscope, it also turns underneath a drone and an aeroplane, and you have shortened flight times when travelling west. If you can memorise that, that is the rebuttal to this argument.
Thank you, sir. Betty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one super chat for you, so I shouted that one out because it's sort of a continuation on the other one from Ricky Alive. He says, "Oh, and I forgot. My sister said Jose Gonzalez is biased and gets paid to censor."
Thanks, Rocky. Appreciate that, sir. Say hello to your sister. Let's go quickly down the list. Listen, everyone in the hangout, be quick about it. We have 2 sections left. I want to get there sometime this evening. They're really good sections, so let's go. Betty, you got the con. Concise, please.
To the people that we already been to, or the new ones? Right?
New ones.
Okay. I got Lemon Bird or Dishort.
That's fine.
Coriolis effects, if there are any, just means something is spinning. Solid space can be spinning above the Earth, making the light slow down in one direction and the gyro speed up in the other direction, not the Earth. So it appears that solid ether space or 0-point space above the Earth is moving rather than the Earth itself.
Yeah. You trying to trigger me?
Well,
Nope.
space appears to have some sort of solidity to make the light.
No, it doesn't. Stop.
Gyro.
It doesn't have solidity. It's according to their story, it's a vacuum. It doesn't have solidity. No. So we're gonna move on.
He tried some ether placement there.
Yeah. Albacore.
Alberica.
Sorry, man. It's just gonna be albacore tuna from here on out. But that is a nice name, man. Alberiqua. Did I say that correctly?
I think so. Yeah.
Love the name, man. Anything?
No comments.
That's very
Appreciate
short.
Flat Earth Daily, concise, please.
He might be off the mic.
That's
Okay.
very concise. Thank you.
JK38, maybe something to add?
Only thing is, I feel like Neil deGrasse Tyson's been a good friend of ours with the whole that stuff is flat and then the whole football thing. Yes, really, only thing I really had to say about what was just said. Keep on going, Kiwi.
Appreciate it, sir, and I will.
And we're going to John Shelton. Got something to add? That's not a whole lot. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Neil again. Hi, Neil.
You got it.
Wait, Neil, you skipped Jose.
Yeah, but he's part of the panel, right?
He hasn't said anything yet.
Yeah, but we can go back to him later. And let Neil talk. He's here.
Okay.
I think the dog has been walked now.
Yeah, I know Jose's your favorite, but let Neil talk.
Yeah, let Neil talk.
Like I was saying before, when Nathan pushed Rumpus to show some evidence, he couldn't. Show some citation, he couldn't. Google, see what it says on the screen, and spew it out of my mouth. I'm tired of the nonsense. As far as this other bull crap that they're talking about, that's just what it is. A bunch of baloney.
Well, tell us how you really feel.
That's it. I'm good. Continue with the lesson.
Ravenous. I like that ravenous part. You got ravenous, Brad. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're muted.
Still good, Kiwi. Keep going, man.
Appreciate it, sir. I will.
And we got Steve Alm. You're muted.
Yeah, everything's good, Q.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you, Steve. Go to Travis before you go to Rumpus.
Okay. Hi, Travis. You're mute. Ooh.
Oh, you're chopping bad, sir. Yeah, you're chopping bad.
Can you go and come back in? That might help for Discord.
You might want to post him a message. He might not be able to hear you. I don't think he can hear you. But that's okay. Rumpus, I'll tell you what, you've been pretty much behaved. This has got to be a record for you. But go ahead. On topic, please.
The lack of understanding of this relative velocity business of airplanes is just extraordinary. Now, the people who are getting confused about this, imagine you're on a train and you decided to run forward in the train or backward in the train, or you're in an aeroplane, let's say, and you decide to roll a ball along the aisle, up the airplane or back the airplane. Do you think the ball will roll in any different way going back up the aisle or down the aisle? Of course it won't. This is called Galilean relativity. And so the idea that if you're an aeroplane and you're going west or east, it's going to make any difference suggests a fundamental lack of understanding of basic maths and physics. Quite extraordinary. You would not expect to see a difference. The speed with which an airplane, there's this constant reference by Nathan to about the Earth turning. The value that the Earth, the magnitude of the amount the Earth turns under something is defined by the velocity. So if you're in an airplane doing 500 miles an hour, you are moving with respect to the same point on the Earth at 500 miles an hour. There's no extra Earth turn that confuses Nathan and others and then involves.
Yeah, that's right, because the Earth's not spinning.
There's no turn at all.
It doesn't make any difference, QE. It doesn't. Just like in a train.
Rumpus, isn't the argument that the Earth is supposed to be spinning underneath the plane?
What? Hold on a second.
Just finish. So relative velocity of something is that if you're on an aeroplane and you decide to run up 10 miles an hour towards the front of the plane or towards the back of the plane, you're still only doing 10 miles an hour relative to the plane. Similarly, if you're
Who
an airplane
cares?
that takes off from the Earth,
What does that have
you're
to do
still
with the
doing-
Earth
you're
spinning
still doing
underneath?
500, even if the Earth's rotating,
Nah,
you're still
stop
doing
'em.
500 miles an hour going east or going west. It doesn't matter.
No, it's not. You forgot about the Earth turning
The
underneath.
Earth could be rotating at 1,000,000 miles an hour. It wouldn't make any difference.
Make any difference
Why
to
are you
what?
arguing for the Earth not spinning underneath the
no, that's
plane?
not.
Because it's
Hold
supposed
on
to
a
be.
second, Arwen. 1 second. Just Chocolate and Rumpus. Go ahead, Chocolate.
Yeah, why are you arguing for the Earth not spinning underneath the plane? The whole argument is it's supposed to be, isn't it?
But the point is, you wouldn't notice it if it's spinning. So your claim.
So
see,
then,
your claim,
is that
you
because
keep
it's
on-
not
people
spinning,
like you keep on
Rumpus?
saying,
Because
oh,
that's
we should
supposed
be
to be
expecting
your
to feel
argument.
it's spinning. You keep on saying we should
So
be
your
expecting to
argument
feel
is
it.
that
Hold
it
on,
is
hold on.
spinning,
You
but
keep
we
on
should
No,
saying-
hold on a
expect it to
second,
be
guys.
spinning.
Hold on. Hold on, Rumpus. Hold on. No one can hear anything. I'm going to stop you right now. You're saying that the person, that's not even the argument. You're saying the person in the plane will not notice the Earth spinning underneath? Yeah, okay. What does that have to do with pork bellies in China? The Earth is still, in your paradigm, spinning underneath the plane. If the plane is traveling west to LAX from North Carolina, and the person's in the plane going west, of course the person's not going to feel the Earth rotating underneath because he's not on the Earth. He's in the plane. What does that have to do with anything? That's not an argument.
Right.
For
The
goodness
point-
sake, sir.
It makes no difference that the Earth is spinning to cause it to change the flight time, which is what you claim is
Yes,
the
it
case.
does.
No, it doesn't,
would.
because I've just explained to you in an aeroplane.
You didn't explain it.
Okay, let me try it
I'm
again.
tired of
The,
it. I'm
you
not
don't.
No, you're not. I'm not wasting time on this. This has been explained to you by me personally greater than 50, 60 times. Nathan, I know, has taken you to the woodshed with this more than once. Nathan, how many times?
No, it doesn't. He's saying you wouldn't notice. The whole point of the claim that proves Earth spinning is that you would notice a Coriolis deviation. That's the proof that Earth's spinning. So when Neil deGrasse Tyson details the ball appearing to curve, that's you noticing it. So Rumpus's argument is you wouldn't notice. Well, then we wouldn't notice any proof of Earth spinning then, because you need to notice. That's what the claim is involving. Noticing a claimed deviation, apparent, because the thing that you're noticing with a deviation is actually travelling straight while you rotate underneath. So if he's saying, well, you wouldn't notice, well then what? We wouldn't notice any claimed proof of Earth spin. Yeah, that's because there isn't any. It's just leading in to justify why we don't have any deviation, why planes don't have a shortened duration with Earth turning underneath, to give you this claim to be apparent deviation, meaning you'd see it. Apparent deviation is the claim proof Earth spins. Well, if you wouldn't notice it, it's not apparent. That's his argument. Useless.
No, it's not. No, it's worse than that. Hold on a second. Hold on. It's worse than that. He's saying the person in the plane traveling to LAX won't notice the Earth spinning. Of course he wouldn't. Who cares? That's not the argument.
Oh, that's
the argument is about the.
I was just going to say that's him
That's
not
what he's-
understanding how Coriolis effect works then, because if he's detailing somebody in the plane, that's got absolutely nothing to do with Coriolis effect. It's an observed deviation from the ground, from the non-inertial spinning reference frame. So if he's going to make a claim about Coriolis effect at all, you need to have it observed from the spinning reference frame, not from the plane. That's got sod all to do with Coriolis. He obviously doesn't understand Coriolis.
No, he doesn't. I don't want to waste any more time with it. You don't understand it at a fundamental level. Okay, what do we
Literally
got?
Said you wouldn't notice it. So then why are we even arguing about it?
No, he's saying chocolate. No, he's saying that if you're in the plane from Charlotte, this is the last time I'm going to say this. He's saying that if you're in the plane from
But
Charlotte,
he
North
brought it back-
Carolina.
when I brought it back to what does that have to do with the Earth spinning
Nothing.
underneath? He said, but you wouldn't notice it. Well, then what the hell are we talking about then?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
It's really
I'm saying.
stupid, and I don't want to go down that road anymore. Betty, any admin before we rock and roll?
Yeah. We got a super chat from James Richard, and he says, Rumpus, that's Rumpus saying something. What are you doing, James? James, drinking a beer, watching the horizon. Rumpus, which one?
Good one. Kudos, James. Thanks, man. All right, we're going to roll on this one. Mike, discipline. Last two sections. I'm going to have to tell you, I put these last two in there because they're my favorite. This one right here, a tear comes to my eye because this is the second thing that I thought about after my conversion, which just took a plank. It was less than a plank time with the gas pressure without a container. This was the second thing I thought of. It had to do with the ISS. Immediately came to my mind. So I went and got all the information real quick. And I said, this is a train wreck of a megalithic disaster. Let me show you step by step. Nathan's going to hate me because, yeah, I'm begging the question. Yeah, I'm allowed to do it every now and again. Let me beg the question for him. I just love this one because it drives the stake in. So please humor me. So the thermosphere is home to the International Space Station as it orbits the Earth. Mike, discipline, please. From spaceplace.nasa.gov, the thermosphere is home to the International Space Station as it orbits the Earth. The thermosphere is directly above the mesosphere and below the exosphere. It extends from about 90 kilometers, that's 56 miles, to between 500 and 1,000 kilometers. That's from 311 to 621 miles above our planet. Okay, everyone's got that. The ISS is made out of an aluminum alloy. Mike, discipline, please. The ISS is made out of an aluminum alloy 2219-T62. This comes from Robert Frost, instructor and flight controller in the Flight Operations Directorate at NASA. The most common material is 2219-T62 aluminum alloy. Most of the ISS structure is aluminum. In fact, the node modules were each made from single blocks of aluminum. So we got, you guys are following me thus far, right? Aluminum 2219 T62 melting temperature is 1,010 degrees to 1,190 degrees Fahrenheit. You guys know where I'm going with this. I hope you do by now. From spaceplace.nasa.gov, the thermosphere lies between the exosphere and the mesosphere. Thermo means heat, and the temperature in this layer can reach up to 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit. The aluminum 2219 T62, again, melting temperature, 1010 to 1190 Fahrenheit. Thermosphere, 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit. The problem, spinning space monkeys, because it's a big one. The heat in the thermosphere is due to solar radiation. Yeah, it's cool up there because there is little or no convection due to the sparseness of the gas molecule. Listen, people, I'm inside their paradigm. I'm inside the walls of their paradigm. You have to understand this. Okay? So the heat in the thermosphere is due to solar radiation. Like I said, yeah, it's cool because there's little or no convection due to the sparseness of gas molecules. We got it. Understood. But the ISS isn't made of gas molecules. It's made out of aluminum. You got conduction. Do you know the 3 types of heat transfer? Por favor. You see, those sparse molecules up there are getting all their kinetic energy from solar radiation. We're not saying the ISS is getting hot from convection with those molecules. We're saying that ISS is smoking because it's receiving the same solar radiation that's making those gas molecules go nuts. Are you following me? That ISS is getting bombarded by the full spectrum of solar radiation, including X-rays, extreme UV, galactic cosmic rays, auroral particles, and solar protons, all of which we are protected against via the atmosphere, according to their story. Like I said, this is from their alma mater wiki. The thermospheric temperatures increase with altitude due to what? Absorption of highly energetic solar radiation. So that big hunk of metal up there is going to absorb the exact same radiation. Are you following me? From sciencing.com, the source of the thermosphere's heat is radiation emitted by the sun. Duh. The thermosphere absorbs much of the radiation that the Earth receives from the sun, leaving only a fraction to actually reach the surface. Ultraviolet radiation, visible light, and high-energy gamma radiation are all absorbed by the thermosphere, which causes the few particles present to heat up considerably. Yes, that's what we're saying. No problem. We're not saying that the ISS is heating up by convection. We're saying it's getting heated up by direct radiation. You're done. It's over. And then the only thing you can appeal to, I had a couple people do this. After you corner them, right, with this, because it's a they're finished. You're going to start getting some names thrown at you. With these belly laughers, they invariably bring up shielding and reflectors. The ISS is powered by solar arrays. They are made from purified silicon. From NASA.gov. The solar arrays that convert energy to electricity on the International Space Station are made of thousands of solar cells made from purified chunks of the element silicon. These cells directly convert light to electricity using a process called photovoltaics. Guess what I'm going to bring up next? I know it's a shocking surprise. Silicon melting point is 2,577 degrees Fahrenheit. Remember, the thermosphere gets to 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit. So, any claim of shielding or reflectors is horsepucky because you don't shield solar arrays. Kaboom. How you like me now? This is all just nonsensical, whistling past the graveyard anyway. Every single one of their claims about space is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics. How you like that? That's your line. I put that in there for you, Nathan, because I know you're disappointed, right? I had to do it because it's one of my first loves. And this one. This is hilarious. I put the substance of this interview into the description of this video. It's the last thing. So hit the description. It's the last link. Okay? This is absolutely hilarious. And probably many people forgot about this if they even watched it, but I showed this to my daughter and it was all over for her from this point. Ready? Question. What does the sky look like from space? Neil Armstrong, Apollo 11. The sky is deep black as viewed from the moon as it is from cislunar space, the space between the Earth and the moon. Edgar Mitchell, Apollo 14, who must not have got the memo. You have to realize that in space, without the intervening atmosphere, the heavens are 10 times as bright, stars 10 times luminous. Perfect consistency, guys. Way to be on the same sheet of music. We're not done yet. Have you met the Hatfields? Chris number 1 and Chris number 2. Chris Hadfield, the ISS commander, this was from an interview from the ISS. The sky is almost white with the light of the universe. with the uncountable number of stars. You can't see the constellations because the sky is just so alive with stars. Chris Hadfield number 2 post this ISS mission. What you see is an immensely deep blackness. It's like a black with texture. It's a palpable blackness. Not just a blackness, but a powerful blackness with black velvetness, but textured without any shininess forever. Are these 2 different Chris Hadfields? Thanks, guy. I appreciate that. My daughter looked at that and started laughing her butt off. With cause. James Riley, astronaut. Billions and billions of stars, and you can see them. In fact, they're so numerous, it's very difficult to pick out the constellations that you and I see here on the ground. Some of the stars have color we don't see on the ground. You see these pastel colors, light yellows, light pinks, light oranges, even light red ones, and light blue. There's all kinds of colors. I live in Colorado, and when you get up in Colorado on a clear night up in the mountains where there's no light, you can see all these stars. Well, multiply that by 1,000. That's what it's like in space. Tim Peake, interview from the ISS. The most unexpected thing was, the blackness of space. Perfect consistency. Have you 2 guys met the Chris Hadfields? And the last bozos, Mike Massimino and Don Pettit. Mike, you can see the stars. Oh, yeah, Mike, pretty much all the time you can see the stars. Don, yeah, it's not a black void. There's more stars you can see. There's more than stars. You can see planets. You can see moons. You can see the zodiacal lights. Mike, whoa, the lights of the zodiac? Mike and Don, have you 2 bozos met Neil, the sky is a deep black Armstrong, and or Chris, a powerful blackness Hadfield number 2? Folks, the Keystone Cops, Abbott and Costello, and Mr. Magoo are blushing. Bye-bye now, bozo ballers. Thanks for your ear. Have a nice day. Questions, comments?
Oh, was that the last? I thought there was one more section.
No more sections.
Oh, cool. Oh, very good presentation. Summarised all of the typical ballhead arguments we have coming our way. Some of them, as you dropped in at the end, could have been demolished without any discussions of whether or not the thermosphere is heating up a tin can in a thermodynamic violation. But there we go, you dropped it in at the end, so I've not really got any grounds to grumble.
I knew you wouldn't like it.
Yeah, it was good.
I agree with stepping into their paradigm every now and then, because you have to crush their paradigm, you know. Like I'm forward like what you did today with you real fight a little bit, went into their space, but sometimes you need to do that with certain people just to stab them with the knife and just twist it a little bit more.
Yeah, I have no problem with it because these are the certain things, especially with this last part I love with the astronauts and all their double speak. Because even before I got into Flat Earth, it was their double speak that made me realize how full of shit NASA really is, and that all the nonsense that they're saying is just ridiculous because it's double speak. How does one guy see the stars and the other one's talking about a deep black? I mean, get your story straight. And these are the things that got me into Flat Earth before learning the true arguments of how this nonsensical second law thermodynamics violation is debunked because it just can't exist. So I don't know. I love this shit, especially with these. You can see stars and There's zodiacal lights. I mean, what the hell? These are the heroes people look up to. They can't even get their story straight. So yeah, I liked it. It was a good presentation, QE.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite presentations. I'd have to say. I'm always going to go back to this. I'll add and take away from it as needed. But this is, I have to admit, it's one of my favorite presentations.
There's a reason they're contradicting themselves.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nathan.
Well, there's a reason they're contradicting themselves. It's because space isn't real. They can't go there, so they can't keep their story straight because the place they're describing is an imaginary place that none of them have been. That's why they're contradicting themselves. And I want to do a plug. Dilly Gill, Dillyggill. He is, as far as I am concerned, the best debunker of the stage performance that is NASA. He's doing all sorts of FOIA requests to get information disclosed in terms of original recordings, and he's showing what a shambles that is when he does actually get those requests fulfilled. But Dillyggill, that's Dilly Gill. Check him out if you want to see it actually exposed. If you want to work within this idea that there is a space and they're in it, then he shows you how they're definitely not. But ultimately speaking, this is all debunked by pointing out that you can't have gas pressure without a container. If the sky was a vacuum, the gas we breathe would fill the space.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Can I add something else to you real quick? So another thing that I like to look at for the ISS is like thinking about like angular resolution, right? They say that the ISS is about the size of a football field, and we know like how big it is. We know how much the solar panels are the gaps between. Now, people that are into this whole angular resolution, like I'm sure Flyer Data can figure this out. Why don't you plug that in, with the dimensions of the ISS and try to see if a P900 could resolve the gaps between the solar panels and try to figure out if that works or not. And I'm pretty sure it won't.
Yeah, Nathan's not going to be happy with you because you're starting to beg the question with us or with me. I've been dogging people out for the past 3 years for begging the question, and what do? But like you said, I have to agree with you. In some instances, I'm going to pseudo justify this. In some instances, it's appropriate to go there, like when I do it. But if anyone for anyone else, don't do it. How about that?
Yeah, but I could just cut through this in an instance for Jose. Where's this? Hold on, before you work out the angular resolution.
Can I beg the question now?
Hold on, Owen.
Go ahead, Arwen.
Oh, God.
Cool.
You're driving me nuts.
I can conspiracy theorize presuppositionally as to why some astronauts would see bright stars and why others would see a black sky. But it would depend on if the astronauts would give the contrasting testimonies when going on the same trip. Then it would become pretty surreal. But since there is supposedly even atmosphere up until the moon, then it might be that that they are mistaken, that actually you do see stars because of the atmosphere, and then some points going around the moon or whatever, it might be not thick enough so that you would see all black, and that at other points you might actually will see stars. This is, of course, when you actually look at the data, this concept completely unravels. But I'd like to speculate.
Data.
Yeah.
They're directly contradicting.
Some of them use stars to navigate. So how do they do that if they couldn't see the stars?
Yeah,
but they
star
don't.
charts.
That's
true. That's true. You can get that from
presuppositionally calculate it and then shoot it.
No.
Right.
You can get audio footage of them describing the star charts they use to navigate to the moon.
Exactly. So deep black. How does that work out?
Just
and Mr. Neil Armstrong himself went to the moon and back, right? Supposedly in their bullshit narrative. So deep black.
I'm going to do this every time. I'm sorry. I'm going to do it to you, Chocolate.
In the dark, basically, for a while.
Hold on, Owen. I'm going to do it to you, Chocolate, because Jose's now dodged the bullet because you've done it. So, sorry, where was the journey taking place in again when they went to the moon?
Yeah. Around the ball. I think it was in a vacuum.
Oh, it was in the sky vacuum. Oh, we don't need to worry about anything else beyond the fact that they couldn't possibly have travelled to the moon, as they claim it is, because their journey took place in a sky vacuum, second law of thermodynamics violation. Just another quick question for Jose. Maybe he hasn't dodged the bullet. The ISS. Where is that? Before we calculate the angular size for it, just a quick question. Where is that exactly?
Gradient.
Unified place that doesn't exist.
Gradient. Gradient. It's in the gradient.
Is it in space by any chance?
Mostly down though.
It's in the gradient. Less air pressure.
No. Hold on, Arwen, Chocolate, and even I'm going to shut up. It's Nathan and Jose. We want to hear this.
Where is the ISS again?
In a place that doesn't exist called space.
I don't think we need to worry about the angular size of it. It's claimed to be in a place that isn't real. I mean, I know there's a light in the sky. I've no idea what it is. I'd love to know. But what they're saying that light in the sky is in a place that isn't real. I'm not too worried about the angular size anymore. It's fake, the place that they say their high wire actonauts are. They're definitely not in space.
Hey, Jose, you're welcome.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Right, and while we're at it at celestial phenomena, how could I have seen like falling stars going diagonally upwards? How does that work?
Mostly down.
In the physical cosmology, basically, of how that's supposed to be happening.
Mostly down.
It's
What?
mostly down, correct?
No, it was definitely upward.
Doesn't matter. Mostly down.
That's just a gas. This was actual light, and it went upward. So I wonder, like, how was it burning up in the atmosphere, moving from down up?
You don't
Like,
understand.
what?
While it appeared to go up, it was mostly going down.
It was going down around the curve.
Now you're getting
towards
it.
Me?
Now you're getting it.
Damn it! Don't do that. Yeah, but I actually did see this, and it was weird.
All right. Any comment on the melting? No one mentioned anything about those melting temperatures. Is it that much of a slam dunk?
Where were those solar panels again?
I don't know. Somebody else brought that up. That was Jose.
Go on, Kiwi. Come on, you can't dodge this. Where did you say those solar panels that was maybe melting, maybe not melting? We could argue about it all day, whether or not they're melting, and if they are melting in a place that doesn't exist, then you win. And if they're not melting in a place that doesn't exist, you lose. Is that how it works?
Yeah, something like that.
Bummer.
What if I brought forth an alternative conceptual theory?
No. We're gonna wrap up. No alternative.
The idea of the thermosphere.
No.
Because I think that is a misconception. It's not actually what people think it is.
I've got a show to plug.
Now we got to round out here. We got to go through the people, so we don't. It's getting around that time. So Betty.
Yep.
Any admin?
No admin.
What in the world? No.
People doing other stuff, chatting, listening, whatever.
That's fine. They're okay. So let's go run through the panel one time. Now remember, we're on topic, right? We're talking about the melting temperatures of the ISS and the materials of the ISS and their associated melting points and the temperature of the thermosphere. And we're going to talk about the absolute doublespeak of these astronauts. Okay? That's the topics. 2 topics.
Astronauts.
Yeah, astronauts. Not.
Well, they are acting, so. Okay, yeah, let's start with Alberiqua.
It's the doublespeak is something the globers suffer from. I mean, you can see Rumpus with the yes, we do have a a curve. No, we don't. The horizon is leading edge or not, and then I mean, you got to go all the way up to them, the top-notch astronauts that say, "Yep, it is black, but it's not." That's one of the things that got me always like baffled when I seen those videos, and you bringing it up is just so amazing, awesome presentation. And yeah, that's another thing. The temperature when I looked at the all the things they say out, the temperature, in the thermosphere, exosphere, and I'm like, okay, so how did the when they launched the shuttle up there, how the hell?
Yeah.
No, great presentation, Kiwi.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, great, John. It's fantastic as always. And yeah, it blows my mind that a lot of these globers go to the footage, right? The wide-angle footage of all the beautiful curve, and it's in space. It's in outer space, completely negating how does a camera work at minus 150 or plus 150.
That's
degrees
another
Celsius.
thing. That's a great point. What's the problem with that?
Well, how does radiation affect the film, affect the sensor? Obviously, there's degradation to the effect of films, even at a digital state.
I'm not saying that. What's the problem? See, here's another little fiasco. That they said that it was 200 degrees when they're up there doing their little thing. It's 200 degrees in the sun and 200 degrees in the shade. How can that be if they're in the thermosphere? We're not talking 200 degrees, people. Has anyone caught this? Is it just me?
Well, I always researching satellites or whatever, Google Loom and the sensors they have on board. They're using these 8-bit infrared type sensors, maybe two optical, and the rest are all electromagnetic frequencies and waves, right? So it's like, how are they working these gadgets at these temperatures? They don't work. Minus 160?
No, that's what I'm saying. 161. That's the wrong number. What the temperature does the thermosphere get to?
Last I checked, it was between minus 150 degrees Celsius, right?
No, I just went through a presentation and told you the thermosphere can reach temperatures up to 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh wow, no, I didn't get that far. No,
that's just what I'm talking about.
I'm looking at the elevation of. Well, they're saying 260 miles the ISS rotates in.
Yeah, that's the thermosphere.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I was thinking about passing through into the thermosphere. It's minus 150 degrees Celsius. They have to go through that first. Yeah, that's what I've looked at. I don't know. I have to go back and look at it again. But it's like even for electronics to pass minus 150 degrees Celsius alone, the battery, the electrical currents alone at minus 150. Show me anywhere on Earth that works at minus 150.
I hear you, but they're just making those numbers up because it's contradictory. If they're in the thermosphere, it's a why. I gave you the distances, right, of what the thermosphere is. It extends from, it starts at 90 kilometers, that's 56 miles, to between 500 and 1,000 kilometers. So it's from 56 miles to 621 miles up. That's the thermosphere. So
Good luck getting anything with plastic, machine parts, anything with an electrical current going through it at those temperatures and those erratic changes. Good luck. I've never seen anything anything in practical demonstration. Even working up in the Arctic in the cold mines there, or the minus 60 in the Arctic there in the diamond mines. These machines break down in minus 60, and you're telling me you're going to have a digital camera take beautiful images at these elevations? It's absolutely it's crazy.
You're gonna get into trouble with Nathan here. You brought up a good point. They keep on bringing up these 200 degrees and in the sun and minus 200 and no. Not if they're in the thermosphere. That's a contradiction because I got it right from NASA what the temperature profile is. Now, it can reach up to 4,500, but it's pretty damn hot up there. I think the average is like 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up.
But it seems that they're heavily reliant on that for a proof, right? And the suspension of disbelief for them to use that proof is a major problem for me to accept it as proof, because they're claiming that this particular instrument they're using is capable to work in these conditions, and I've never seen any evidence of that on Earth.
Well, they're double speaking.
I'm gonna have to stop you, right? Because
you got to stop us. I knew it wouldn't take you long.
Hold on, right? This is a fascinating conversation. However, let me just point something out. Let's say you have an argument with a globehead about whether or not the cameras would work in this place that doesn't exist, and you win. And it's proven beyond all doubt that the camera cannot work at those temperatures in this place that does not exist. All that you'll achieve, to an audience's perspective, is that you've argued about whether or not a camera will work in a place that doesn't exist. So everyone's still under the firm understanding at the end of the argument that space is real, but the cameras may or may not work there. So I'll ask you this. The cameras that may or may not work, depending on the temperature of this place that doesn't exist, where are they again exactly? Where are these cameras?
I love when the voice goes, where are they?
Well, that's the whole benefit of a suspension of disbelief, man, is they have no practical example here on Earth. Right? So
Don't forget, no, not on Earth. The cameras we're worried about whether or not they'll work. Where are they situated precisely in their narrative?
Vacuum.
In space? Oh, that's a shame. Yeah. That's a problem now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Space isn't real.
Point taken, Nathan. You're exactly right. Yep. I got you. Hey, thanks a lot, Flat Earth Daddy. A lot of good points, man. Betty.
Yeah. I got JK38.
Good.
You off mute?
Yeah. Only thing I wanted to ask QE was, have you ever had a globetrotter try to justify the astronaut double speak?
No, we might get some. Just hold on, because Rumpus is down here on the bottom. We want to get his take on those. What those?
Yes, that'd be lovely. That's all.
I haven't. They've all diverted away from the topic. I haven't. What can you say? I mean,
exactly.
But it'll be fun. We're gonna listen to that. So don't skip Jose. I think he might have something else to say. Thanks, JK.
Yep.
Okay, and then you want to add something?
Jose, you want to add something there, brother?
Nah, I don't want to go to space. I don't want Nathan to chew me out.
Yeah. I was trying to set him up again. Good on you, Jose. I'm guilty just as you. Go ahead, Betty.
Yeah, Neil, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. You want to add something?
Yeah, these meatballs that said they went there. Okay. If I went to the came back, I would have been going bananas. I went bananas the first time I was on a Nathan Oakley show. So, these guys, they're sitting there all solemn and like they stole freaking their mother's money. My son tells me they're like that because they had to go in quarantine. I don't care. When I come out of quarantine, I'm going to be going crazy. I went to the freaking moon!
I see. So Neil. So these depressed astronauts, where did they claim they went again?
Okay, wait a second. The heliocentric model, you can't get there. But the way I believe the Earth is, you can, because that's all inside the firmament.
That's fascinating. But in their narrative, in their narrative, right? I'm just pointing out that we could argue all day about how depressed they seemed after coming back from the moon, and that's perfectly valid. But their journey took place in a second law of thermodynamics violation, so we don't really need to dissect how depressed they were. The place they claimed to go was fake.
That's true. But that's in the heliocentric model.
Neil, you ain't gonna win this.
I'm right, though, right? According to let's say what the Bible says inside the firmament. That means the sun, the moon, the stars are there, right?
No, we can't do that, Neil. We have to stay within their paradigm, not any other paradigm.
No fair.
I can argue about the secret moon program as well, if you want. Do you want to argue about the secret moon program? I can do that.
No, I don't think they went there. I just like having a little fun with it. But yeah, keep it going. I'm still listening.
Okay, where is there?
Thanks, Neil.
Exactly?
Appreciate it.
Sorry, where's there exactly?
Over there, where the sun is.
Space, you mean?
May I interject for comical relief for a second? It's quite interesting. It's quite interesting when you get into a heated debate with a glober, and if you're just toying with them a little bit or having fun with them, and you stop and you say, "Hey, listen, man, do you believe in aliens with super space technology?" It just to me, when you throw that in there, because they throw so many ad homs. Where's your dome? Where's your sky wizard? Blah blah blah. Right? But it really, really puts it in perspective when you ask him about aliens and super space technology. So I thought it was quite funny about the secret moon bases conversation, because that actually goes on. It actually goes on. It blows my fucking mind.
Yeah. That it won't last too long with Nathan.
Start asking them about their little green men, right?
Exactly. Do you believe in aliens with super space technology? They can come and probe you when they want.
It's not belief if you're a heliocentrist. I've got to point that out as well. Something you may not be aware of. If you're a globe believer, ipso facto, you are an alien believer now. So statistically, there's a mathematical equation that can justify this on your globe side, but aliens are a fact in the heliocentric model. They're a statistical certitude. So therefore, whether you like it or not, you're an alien believer if you're a heliocentrist. I find that quite amusing.
Yeah, but that equation stated that there isn't a chance, if I'm not mistaken,
of encountering them.
Yeah, I can't remember because it's so. I can't remember the name. It starts with. Does it start with an F?
I think opinions are divided in the field.
I'm pretty sure it's the Drake equation, isn't it?
The Drake equation. That's it.
That's the one.
That said D. Yeah, it's nonsensical buffoonery. We don't need to go down that route. Who is it? Ravenous Brad.
Yeah.
Back to me again? Oh, man.
Yeah.
No questions, just one comment. Super impressed with you, QE, Nathan, Betty. You guys did a good job.
Appreciate that, sir.
Okay. Steve on.
Huey, you and Nathan just don't understand. This is not ordinary aluminum. This aluminum was made with
Yeah. That was that, every single response he's had, that's what he started out with, that we don't understand. Remember the 5 saviors I went over the other day with the photosynthetic redneck? That's one of them. But that was a good one. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
Travis seems to be on mute. Am I getting that right?
Yeah. He's just listening. And, that's it.
All right, the last one. We want to hear it, Rumpus. Like I said, you've been pretty well behaved so far.
From the chat that says what did he wanted to ask this question, and I know I get Nathan on my back with this one. What kind of air conditioners do they have on the ISS that cools down 400 degrees of temperatures?
Where would those air conditioners be exactly?
Exactly. I would like to have such a air conditioning that could at least knock off a lot of these degrees, right? They usually get to 2 degrees, 4 degrees, maybe.
It doesn't get that hot in the Netherlands, for crying out loud.
We're gonna get to Rumpus. I just hold on. I want to hear specifically what Rumpus has got to say about the contradictions from the astronauts, and then hopefully you'll let me plug my show that starts in 5 minutes afterwards.
Astronauts. Get it right.
Yeah. Go ahead, Betty. Let him go.
Already?
We don't understand.
All right, you don't understand the difference between temperature and heat. So the fact that there's a temperature up there of 4,000, what it is in centigrade, not in Fahrenheit, that is because there are only very few molecules up there. It's like being hit by sparks. The sparks that come off something like a lathe are very, very hot, but they hit you and they don't have any effect on you because they're just so, the heat capacity in them is so small. Similarly with the molecules in the thermosphere, there are so few of them that when they hit the space station, they might be at a temperature.
Did you listen, Rumpus? You're not listening to the presentation. I already went over this. I'm not claiming that the ISS is getting hot through convection. I already went over that. I stressed it 3 times. What do? You say, yeah, the ISS is not getting heated up by convection. We already know that. Thank you. Appreciate it. My word.
Is he still there?
But you're claiming that there's a temperature in the molecules around the ISS that are 2,000 degrees C or something. So it's conduction, not convection. And
oh my God!
Same exact thing.
Stop! I can't do it.
I just got one question for him. Can I ask him a question? Can you take him off?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm not. Go ahead.
Rumpus, when you said up there, where's up there exactly?
In space, where the ISS is.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's a
Nathan,
shame.
you can confirm that the ISS is in space yourself by doing some trigonometric calculations to work out its height, and you'll find it's well above the atmosphere, well above the Kármán line, and people have done this, including Reds Rhetoric and others. You yourself can confirm the height of the ISS, and you can demonstrate it's above the atmosphere. You could do that
above
if you're inclined
hold
to
on.
do so.
Just a quick question then, Rumpus. No, you see, you say above the atmosphere, and it's beyond the Kármán line, an arbitrary assigned position where the atmosphere ends. How is the atmosphere not escaping into that vacuum? If the sky was a vacuum, the gas would fill the space.
No, it wouldn't. Gravity.
No. You see, gravity as a force was superseded over 100 years ago by bending of conceptual pseudo-Riemannian force space, length, breadth, depth and time. Well, concepts, mathematical constructs, won't give rise to any forces, no matter how much you think about them. I know you're being directed by people like George Musa to think about them as though they're forces, but thinking about maths doesn't give rise to a force. And the gases, which are all produced at ground level, they go up. They're not mostly going down, go boom, boom. So if the sky was a vacuum, the gas would fill the space. So unfortunately, the place that these claim to be heating up or not is irrelevant, because the place they're claiming this tin can in the sky is a second law of thermodynamics violation. Outer space is fake. If the sky was a vacuum, natural law, the second law of thermodynamics, the entropy law, they're one and the same thing, Rumpus, dictates that the gas would fill the space. So the sky is definitely not a vacuum.
On the scale, the force you experience on the scales in your bathroom is also the force that's subjected to the atmosphere. And
no, that would be a force of something with mass that's not randomly and freely travelling in all directions. When I put something on my scale, it only travels down, whereas gas expands in all directions. And most of the gas cycles, they're all being produced at ground level and working their way up. So definitely not down towards your scale. Puddles evaporate and work their way up. Not down, go boom boom with gravity. That's nonsense. Completely the opposite in terms of the gas cycles. Starting at ground level, working their way up. How do you think you get gas at the top of Everest? If it's not working its way up, there's not much vegetation and water evaporating up there. Obviously there's still gas there though, because it's worked its way up, not down. Not with any force, not with gravity. Certainly not with the bending of pseudo-Riemannian force space. So yeah, the gas would fill the space if the sky was a vacuum. Space is fake, Rumpus.
gas molecules are moving at about 5,000 miles an hour in the atmosphere. Imagine
Yeah, they're in all directions, up including up. So at 5,000 miles an hour, I'd pretty much expect them to hurtle on past these spaceships. If the spaceships can go into this area, then the gas at 5,000 miles an hour is definitely going to be able to go into it, isn't it? There's nothing to bounce off. The Kármán line isn't a barrier. So if they're going at 5,000 miles an hour, they're going to go into that sky vacuum pretty rapidly, aren't they? And we'd be at 10 to the minus 17 torr at sea level.
up at 5,000 miles an hour and get up to the upper reaches of the atmosphere.
What, and you think it just stops? No, it'd keep going into space. It would fill that space, the sky vacuum, that is. Now, with all due respect, Rumpus, I've got a show starting
It
now. I
would
want to plug
slow
it for my
down
audience.
just like a ball would. It would get up to the top of the atmosphere and then fall down just like the
Fall down? You think gas suddenly changes direction and falls down when it's going 5,000 miles an hour? No, gas doesn't stop. It doesn't take off its bra and burn it in rebellion of gas law. If it's travelling at 5,000 miles an hour, it's just going to continue. It doesn't fall down, go boom, boom, because you've got this idea of a 100-year out-of-date force pulling it back again. If it's travelling at 5,000 miles an hour, what the hell's going to make it go down, go boom, boom? Well, nothing. In fact, if it reaches the thermosphere, if that's claimed to be true, it's going to be given a massive amount of energy to speed up. Isn't it, Rumpus? It's not going to slow down, go boom, boom, back to Earth. It's going to heat up and then go even faster.
If you fall up at 5,000 miles an hour, it would eventually come down.
What? If it's going at 5,000 miles an hour, eventually it's going to, what, go the opposite direction? That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
just like a molecule if you threw that up at 5,000 miles
No,
an
no.
hour.
If you throw a molecule, hold on, you don't throw molecules up in the air like balls. It sounds like you think gas behaviour is like bouncy ball behaviour. What goes up must come down. Like if you throw a bouncy ball up in the air, it'll have to come back down. Gas doesn't behave like that. It has to hit something to come back down again. If it's travelling at 5,000 miles an hour and hits the thermosphere, it's just going to go even faster until it hits something. That's what creates pressure, it pressing on something. And if there isn't anything to press on, it's just going to fill the available volume. It's just going to fill the space. We wouldn't have any gas to breathe if the sky was a vacuum, because it would all sod off at thousands of miles an hour, and there's nothing for it to hit and come back again. So it would fill the space if the sky was a vacuum. It's not. Space is fake. Hence, we don't need to argue about what the ISS is doing and whether or not it's heating up. It's claimed to be in a fake place, because we wouldn't have any gas if that place was real. If this tin can make it up there, the gas going at 5,000 miles an hour can damn well get there too. And it would keep going, because there's nothing to bounce off. The Kármán line's not a barrier.
A ball doesn't need to bounce off anything to come back, Nathan.
We're not talking about balls. You equivocate between balls, which are solids, and gas, which aren't solid. They don't come back down. It's not solid. Gas behaviour isn't the same as solid behaviour. It's not a ball. Molecules of gas are not bouncy balls, you moron. Are you stupid? Do you think that gas behaves the same way as a ball?
Exactly, that's right.
No, it doesn't exactly behave. It behaves totally different. Balls and gases don't behave the same. Not exactly. Completely different. No, you're stupid. You don't understand the difference between gas behaviour and solid behaviour. A ball's solid. And we're talking about gas, so I'm done with him. That's the end of the conversation. He's a moron. He thinks that gas goes up and then comes back down again. No, that's definitely not how gas behaves. It expands to fill the available volume that it has to fill. And if space is a volume that's available for the gas to fill, it will fill it. Now that just means that we don't have a sky vacuum. Space is fake. Because if it was real, the gas would expand in all directions at high velocity to fill the volume available to it. And space is an available volume in your nonsense world of sphere. So no, space is just fake. Be sure to tune into Nathan Oakley channel for Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show starting now. Be here or be sphere.
Hey, Nathan, would it be safe to say, ask Rumpus, what causes gas to expand in all directions? Would it be dissipation, dissipation or entropy or gravity? What would it cause? Right? What would be the cause of the expansion? Would it be gravity or dissipation? The entropy, the natural law. That's what I mean. So he's like, he's not looking at the fundamental how gas actually dissipates and what the cause for it is.
The gas molecules behave just like balls, and that's why they are.
What causes the dissipation? What causes the dissipation? What causes the dissipation? What causes the dissipation? That's all I want to know. I don't want any other answer. What causes the dissipation for the gas?
The velocity, just like a ball's velocity.
So velocity is the cause of dissipation. You're a fucking moron, dude.
Hey, watch it. No F words.
It's just that gas behaves like balls. No, it doesn't. So if you trust in Rumpus, you're going to be as stupid as he is. Gas expands, and it's moving freely and randomly in all directions. Now, a ball will have a curved trajectory depending on which way you throw it, and it'll come back to the ground because of its relative density. Well, gases don't behave in exactly the same way as solids. They expand freely in all directions. They're unbonded. That's not how gas behaves. A ball is completely bonded. Lots and lots of molecules all bonded together, making it more dense than the air that it's in. So it'll come back to the ground. Well, gases don't do that. They expand to fill the volume they have available to them. So you just got a fundamental misunderstanding.
Yeah, solids, liquids, and gases all behave differently. Everyone knows this. This is third grade general science. He's dead wrong, and he knows it. Let's wrap it up. Let's go with final thoughts so we can get over to Nathan's show. Arwen, quickly, please.
Yes, quickly. Yeah, it's really going nowhere this way. I thought it was kind of funny. Rumpus's conceptualization of the thermosphere, of how it's supposed to affect the heat, because the thermosphere, in my opinion, is like one of the more fictional creations, kind of like the Van Allen radiation belt, things that were purely conjured up that have no direct reflection in reality. But yeah, it's just interesting to speculate about it from a purely presuppositional standpoint. But yeah, as for a real argument, yeah, none to be had there. So.
Thanks, Arwen. I forgot. Rumpus. People wanted you to answer the astronauts' view on the stars. You know, dark, bright. They wanted your take on it.
Right, I want to go back to the aeroplane, by the way. You got it wrong. I was not talking about people in the aeroplane being affected. I was saying the aeroplane flight time would not be affected by a rotating Earth.
That's not what you said, but I don't want to go back
there.
there.
You didn't understand it because you didn't.
I don't want. No, we already know what you said. I know what you said. I wrote it down. Okay, listen, I'm tired of it. I wrote it down. I know what you said. It's on tape. So let me say this again. People are interested in the hangout and in the audience on what your take is with the astronauts and their contradictory claims. Now, if you go back to that stupid plane, I'm not gonna kick you. I'll just meet you and then we'll end the show. Okay? We want to know what you think about the astronauts and their views of space.
The flight time of an airplane would not be affected by a spinning.
Goodbye.
Sorry, can I just point out that you predicted that if this ever came up with a ball-tarred light rumpus, what they would do is avoid the question. And I want to now point out that your prediction was absolutely correct. He has definitely avoided this question in regards to the double-speak nonsense of astronauts. I want you to give him one last attempt. I'll phrase it to him, see if he can do it. Are you a coward? Don't you want to answer about the double-speaking contradictory rhetoric of the actonauts? Rumpus, you've avoided it twice. Are you a coward? Don't you want to answer? See if that works.
I'll answer that if you'll answer the question about the balls and...
No, that's an obfuscation. Stick him on mute. That's the third time. We'll give him fourth attempt. No, we don't want to talk about the aeroplanes. The audience specifically, I was more than happy to send people to my show, but I'm happy to stay here now. See if on 4 separate occasions, this coward refuses, by way of obfuscation, to justify the double-speak rhetoric of actonauts who haven't been to a second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum and therefore lie about what the stars do. Will he address it or not? Fourth time's a charm. Let's see if he says he must answer some of the question. Go, Rumpus, go.
You censored my response about molecules and balls. So that's what I'm going to finish talking about. And then...
No, you're not. You're done. 4 times a charm. Let it be known, audience, they're definitely scared to answer this question. So I would say ask them indefinitely. Ask them why they're contradicting themselves. If space is real and the sky vacuum doesn't work and the second law of thermodynamics doesn't apply and we all beg the question of space, why would they contradict themselves about what the stars do? I think this is a very pertinent question after all. I take it all back, Quantum Eraser. Maybe begging the question is worthwhile once in a while.
Thank you. Once in a while to bring it up, it's okay?
Maybe.
Appreciate it, man. We'll get out of here real quick. We're going to go ahead and finish up real quick. Chocolate.
Nah, I'm good, man. Rest in peace to the globe. Nonsensical bullshit. Great
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thanks, man. Yep. Jose Mesa.
Do you mind if I plug something in real quick?
No, go ahead. That's the point.
So, obviously, we got the 24/7 Flower Discord that's running 24/7 live. You guys ever want to join and have a conversation, join there. We also started once a week. We have a ladies' night. So this is more for Betty. Betty, if you'd like to join us, we have a day of the week where we let the women just flat smack the shit out of the Globers. You're free to join.
Yeah, thank you. Last time was in the middle of the night for me. I might be asleep. So, yeah. Good to know.
And we have... Go ahead, Nathan. You had something?
No, I'm just waiting to the end to plug my show again. Just that was all I'm waiting for.
Okay, yeah, we're coming right at you. Betty, any final admin?
Yeah, just one came in now. And it's from Rakia Live. And it says, did I mention my sister said Jose JG was biased and gets paid to have members kick panel members?
First-hand experience.
I'll talk to Rakia about his sister. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that. Final thoughts, Betty, on from you?
for the astronauts or whatever.
Yeah, for the astronauts or whatever, the melting temps astronauts. Anything you want to add before I let Nathan take us home?
Yeah. Well, I remember that you talked about the sun on Robert Bassano's. So it was a long time that you already talked about the situation where the ISS would have been if there was a vacuum of space where you could go to. And yeah, it was just a pile on all the other things that I already did know that was wrong about the globe and the Earth should be flat. So, but I'd like you to bring up that from time to time because people forget these older arguments. It's always good to if you aren't well to discuss these arguments that you can also on their level also destroy them by these kinds of things. So that's why once in a while it's good to sort of back the question with them and destroy them on their own turf, basically.
Yeah, I totally agree. So does Nathan.
And it's enjoyable from time to time. We know that we have the better arguments anyway, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes we need to sort of like go on their side and battle them on their side and see what happens.
I couldn't agree more. Well, thank you, Betty.
Okay.
Nathan, take us home, sir.
Sit, understand everything that's been presented here. It's a good guide to understanding how not to get duped into justifying claims that aren't yours or that you haven't made. Understand, most importantly of all, that outer space is fake. We can't have gas pressure here without containment. And if the sky is a vacuum, the gas is going to fill that space. So just understand that you can cut the legs off any argument that's going to come from a region that doesn't exist by going slightly high-pitched and saying, where were those cameras? What area exactly? Etc, etc. But yeah, be here or be sphere for brand new Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show, which is premiering now right over on the Nathan Oakley channel. So I'll spam the link in the chat if you're watching this live on the Quantum Eraser channel. Thank you very much indeed to all the panel members. Thank you very much indeed to Quantum Eraser for having me. And I'm sure you'll round out with the last few words, Quantum Eraser. Thanks again.
Appreciate it, sir. Yep. Yeah. And that thanks goes out to the beautiful Betty Van Velsen for running things here. Thanks to all the Ballbuster panel and all the guests too. I mean, there was some really good information that they put out. Take these ball killers and give it to everyone you know. They're really easy, and you can hammer away at them because the ball stops here. And we weren't going to let you just walk on out of here.